Troll Lord Games. Join the fray.
Playing games you've played in the past with the same attributes that Dungeons and Dragons has: strength, intelligence, constitution, etc., etc. Combat is done just like it's done in those other games. You're going to roll a d20. If you add your bonuses and all that crap to it, and you hit my armor class, then you hit. Same thing goes for you. Important thing to keep in mind that the monster, he's going to add his hit dice to his attack roll. So the stronger the monster, the greater chance they have to hit you. Just people forget that frequently, and they find themselves in a bind very, very frequently. The way the attributes, so if it's not combat, everything works off of the siege engine. The siege engine is our attribute check system. It's extraordinarily simple to use. You've got primary attributes and secondary attributes. This should be marked on your character. Humans have 3, demi-humans have 2 primary attributes. If it's a primary attribute, your base chance to succeed at something, any task it is, anything that you want to try, is going to be 12. If it's a secondary attribute, it's going to be 18. So when I ask you to make like a strength check, you're going to just roll, and you're going to say, you're going to roll your d20. Oh yeah, add your level and add your attribute bonus to whatever you roll. So you're going to roll your d20, add your level, which should be 3, I think, and everybody here is probably 3rd level except the cleric, right? I think we all should be. So just add 3 to it and whatever attribute bonuses, and let me know if it's a prime. In fact, we're going to do this a little bit easier. If it's a prime, just go ahead and add 6 to it. So add your level, add your attribute bonus, and 6 if it's a prime. If it's secondary, add your level and your attribute bonus, and let me know. And that's it. And if you hit the target number I've picked in my head, then you succeed at whatever task you're attempting to do, whether it's talking to a bartender to convince him to give you cheap ale, or swimming a river, climbing a rock, whatever it happens to be.
When does that happen?
Yeah, we're going to start sort of at a river this time. A little bit different. All right. So does anyone have any questions before we plunge in? It's easy. You'll find as we play it runs pretty smooth.
So when I make my roll, you'll tell me. Somebody will say, "Oh, do this," and then I won't have to remember again.
Yeah. Just remember to always add your level. People very frequently forget to add their level. It's very, very important. That gives you your angle. And really the way that the game is designed, the more experience you get, the more levels you gain, the better chance you have at doing tasks like swimming a river or convincing that barkeep to give you cheap ale. With experience, presumably comes, advantage. We're all getting older. I'm not sure if that really applies, but, but we will assume it does in a fantasy game. So. All right. So you guys find yourselves, you've drifted out of these high mountain this high mountain region. The region that you're in has a little bit of glaciation going on there. It's relatively cold here, even though it's still late summer, early fall. At the altitude you guys are, it's pretty chilly. You've passed not probably, but definitely at least one glacier that's kind of melting, and spilling down into this large lake. This lake is off and to your left. You've come out of the tree line, and in front of you, the rocks tumble down maybe 200 or 300 odd feet through this broken country with a little bit of pine here and there to the left and right. No real snow at this point, but the lake to your left clearly funnels into this channel that's in front of you guys. This at the bottom of this little cliff that you're on. You can hear it quite a bit. It's quite a violent current down there. But over the water, you can see this long rocky bridge. It's a natural formation that goes over that and into this kind of densely packed wood that slips down on a slope. It's pretty egregious. And at the bottom of that slope, you can see this open glade, and it looks like maybe either some rocks down there, maybe a structure or two that's down in this kind of this bottomland. Now, as you're sitting there, do we have a ranger or druid in the mix?
I have a ranger.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're kind of moving forward a little bit, and as you're spying this country out, sitting on the rock, the natural bridge, is this large winged creature. It looks a little bit clumsy. It's perched there, kind of on the edge of it. Its tail is kind of split behind it, stretching in several different directions. So it looks sort of like maybe two, maybe three tails. It's got a long neck. Its wings don't naturally fold back across its backside like a bird's would or even a dragon's would. And it's got a long, thick neck and this huge, almost flat shovel-like nose and snout. It's clearly perched on the rock. It's looking to the south and east, down into the chasm. To what end you can't tell.
Is it in an aggressive posture, or is it just kind of looking about lazily?
It's not so much looking about lazily, but it's not an aggressive posture. It's not like like a bird of prey that has spied something, it's fixing to launch. It's kind of sitting like perhaps a crow would, or any kind of bird that's hadn't quite decided what its next meal is going to be. So it's just kind of perched there. It is rather large, easily its torso the size of a very heavy bull, and its neck equally as long. So it's a pretty stout creature.
And what is the distance from us?
Down this slope is a couple 100 feet. You can move with a little bit of cover here. You certainly could. Cormac could probably weave through it, but it's not going to be great cover for the rest of the party. A few pines here and there, a couple of crevices, a lot of jumble of rocks. When you get down to the bottom of it, of this slope, you've got maybe 50 feet between the jumbled mess and this natural bridge. The bridge itself is roughly 200 feet across this chasm. And on the other side of the chasm is the forest picking up from there. What do you do? You can hear your comrades coming down behind you. I'm assuming, we're going to get into descriptions in a minute, but I'm assuming some of you guys have heavy metal armor on. So, they're moving a little bit cumbersome, kicking up a little bit of dust, making a little bit of noise. Not a lot, but a little bit of noise.
Okay. Well, I will go back. They're coming down to meet me. I will go and meet them and let them know what I see ahead of them and see what they make of it.
All right. I assume that he intercepts you guys before you're inside of this natural bridge. Clearly, there's some kind of predaceous beast sitting there.
Does Deerstalker give me any kind of role to know what the thing is he's describing?
Oh, let's see. So Deerstalkers have quite a bit of natural. Let me check that up.
Covers wide range of survival skills. It is, let's see. In short, it is their natural ability to endure environments. Well, so that's not.
Well, you know what?
Shelter.
Let's do it this way. A deer stalker is clearly an experienced outdoorsman. So you can go down there and take a look at the animal and see if you can't determine anything. And I'm just going to ask you to make an attribute check.
Nope.
Are you going down by yourself, or is someone going with them, or are you? And I assume you're trying to hide a little bit.
Dag would kind of hide a little bit, but he would not care about anybody else coming with him.
Okay.
He's not in a mean way, just occurred to him.
All right, as you kind of break from the party and move down, give me a quick description of your character as you kind of. I'm guessing the roll was poor, but that's not a good way to start.
It's a 1. So
That's one.
Whoa!
All right, well, let's get a good description of your character before whatever else happens.
Average build. Well, let's see. I don't know what a strength 16 would look like for a human. He's tends to go around solo. He doesn't jump into any conversations, but he's not standoffish. So it's not your stereotypical Conan, but he's big, wearing hide armor, and doesn't talk much. So
hide armor, any kind of extraordinary weapons that you got?
Yeah, he has the bearded axe. I used the +1 on the bearded axe. You said we had a +1 on a few things. The hide armor also has a +1 on it, and he doesn't look like anything but an outdoors guy.
All right, so you're a little bit dirty coming down, and you just from the travel, your calves are just tired from this constant. When you're coming down a hill, it's not easy. It's never easy to come down a hill, especially after you've done it for a while. Your calves are getting kind of tired. As you break from the tree line, the ranger's kind of watching you, and the rest of the party's kind of looking at you, and you just slide. You hit the ground, you slide a little bit before you can even get a good idea of what you're looking at. Kick up a little bit of dust, and this causes a very tiny avalanche in front of you. A couple of yards of dirt and a few rocks tumble down before you all. Kicks up quite a bit of dust, and the creature lazily looks over at you. It looks up. You can see it lifts its head, and it kind of lowers its head back down as if it's trying to see. Now you're actually, you've kicked up a little bit of dust, but you're kind of laying there half on your butt with this kind of dust going up and around you. What do you do?
In a scree pile.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
What do? Do you get up, or you kind of hold still?
I'd freeze until I can tell if he's spotted me, and so I would just freeze.
All right, give me a wisdom check on that. So this is going to be add your level and your bonus. And is it a prime?
It is not a prime. It's 12. So I don't know what my bonus is for that, and I'll add
+1 for 12, I think.
7
+1 doesn't kick in
until
13.
Plus is 11, so that does not make it either. So I'm just gonna slide on and.
But this time you're actually looking at. You kind of stop sliding and looking at the creature. You can't quite tell. It still has this kind of odd motion, lifting and lowering its head somewhat. All right. So what is going on behind him? You guys have seen your comrade slide down a little bit.
Okay, my ranger, I'll use the scale ability of my ranger and go down the hill, because clearly he doesn't know how to climb. So I'm going to descend the hill using my ranger scale ability, so at least I can help him back up if he needs help. But if he needs help in combat, I'll be there as well.
Okay, Barbarius, what are you doing? Are you watching? Are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty entertained by this, but I'm going to have my javelin in my hand just in case that thing decides to come over our way. Just kind of hanging out in the edge of the trail, just inside bush if possible.
Okay, yep, just right into the tree line. Butt Monkey, what are you doing?
Mr. Bankers is trying to get a sense of what this thing might be looking at. I kind of want to, if I can, get towards the edge of the drop off and look down to see what it might be staring at, looking for.
Okay, so you're going to start moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You start moving down. Rhino, what do you got? What are you doing? Part of the group is beginning to move forward. Some of them are kind of obviously trying to spy what's going on. What are you up to?
Well, I asked no one in particular if our barbarian friend is okay. Looks like he fell. and I'm just gonna hold.
Okay.
See how this unfolds.
Steven, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna ready my light crossbow, get a bolt ready to go, and start moving forward.
All right, Scott.
I'm gonna hop on my shield like a sled and try to race the elf down to the bottom of the hill.
All right, so are you going to do that, Scott?
Absolutely, I love sledding.
All right, so give me a quick description of your character as you pull your shield around. What type of shield is it?
It's a I said male hauberk. It's a medium steel shield. Yeah.
All right, it's big enough to hold you.
Yeah.
What are you? Give me a quick description of your character.
Just a regular human fighter on his way to a new town to find a new house. Why not?
There you go. You got chainmail on, or what kind of armor you got on?
Yep, chainmail. Yes, sir.
Any kind of extraordinary weapons we need to know about?
A sweet looking battle axe by the look of it. And a bow. Should I need that? Should I have to resort to that?
All right. So you throw your shield down and you leap on it. So give me a dex check on that.
Yeah. Let's see. So that's I roll a
for you.
20. This is prime. So 15, a 21.
All right. Well, you hit the shield, and the shield slides maybe 2, maybe 3 inches, and obviously your weight pushes it down into the dirt. Shield immediately catches, and you slide right off of that shield and go about another 4 or 5 feet until you kind of tumble, just not on top of the range or the barbarian, but a few feet above him, with the shield a few feet behind you. And obviously, with this ruckus, the creature still is now beginning to look even a little bit more curiously. Cormac, while all this is going on, what are you doing?
Cormac is attempting to recover from barreling, laughing, and pointing at both of the characters that went over the edge. He thinks that's the funniest thing he's pretty much ever seen, especially from guys who are supposed to be, quote unquote professionals. I will pull out. So I've got the standard roguey type of outfit. I got the leather going on, a little hooded cloak type of thing. I've got a broadsword, a dagger, hand crossbow. I'm pretty above average in the physical attributes and about average in the mental attributes. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my hand crossbow and just step forward to the tree line just to cover these two guys who are tumbling down the hill, make sure nothing comes up on them untoward.
Okay. All right. So you guys have this kind of broken line coming. Some of you coming out of the tree line, some not. Obviously armoring up, weapons out and whatnot. Then the creature, finally, it seems, with all of this activity going on, the creature seems to focus for a moment. It stops lifting its head up and down. It opens its mouth just a little bit. And to be clear, you guys are still about 200 feet up the slope. And the cliff that the bridge is covering it, the chasm, is still under 200 feet from where you guys are. The creature opens its mouth just a little bit. You can see a bit of saliva kind of clinging to the top and the bottom. It smacks somewhat. And then it stands up. And then when it does so, you all clearly see that its legs are very clumsy. They're short. Its toes seem to be kind of short. It seems to be not really evolved to the point where it can perch so easily. And then it spreads its wings and it kind of launches. It more than launches. It kind of drops itself off the bridge, falls a few feet. Wings go out, catch an updraft, and then it takes off and into the distance, kind of following level with the chasm itself. And you follow it for a little bit, a few hundred feet before it kind of banks to the left and out of sight.
So you said this thing had toes as opposed to claws.
Yeah, it's a very strange. The feet are very strange looking. Clearly not, like a bird has claws and it can hold on to things, like an eagle or what have you.
And nothing that I've ever heard of is a deer stalker. Never heard
give me a. So what is your primary attribute? A barbarian's is that Constitution? I think that's con
and charisma.
Yeah, give me a con check on that.
Can I throw away this die yet?
So this might be a good time to say this, but every one of you should get an additional 1 to your attribute checks because of the Forsworn's Iron Certainty skill.
Now, is that a skill?
Hey, I didn't write the rules.
Do you have to do something to get that, or is it just because you're there?
The book didn't make it clear. So I'm assuming it's just because I'm there and these are my companions.
It's not going to matter when you roll a 3. So
I wrote that class, but I can't remember so long ago.
So do I add because it's a prime, and whether or not I have the 1, I roll a 3.
You got a 3?
Yeah. So I add My
That may
con
not
was
help.
at 14.
Yeah, don't
so
even
that's
worry about it.
2, right? So 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not even gonna hit 10.
Yeah, that's not very good. So is a forsworn? Why can't I find this in this book? Where's this silly class?
I need to melt
Page
this
17 in your adventurer's backpack, right above the chart on the left side of the page.
So we put the ethereal knight after the forsworn. That's kind of how we wanted to do the alphabet for this book, I suppose. Is that what we just gotta reverse that? That's good. That's good. You know, keep it a little bit jumping. All right, so where are we at? Iron Certainty, is that where you're? That's it.
Yep, that's it. So it's pretty much near the bottom of that little paragraph.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you need to make a check or anything.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice little boon there. Thank you.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So essentially, what that is when you approach things, you're confident enough. The confidence that you have in all things going on around you just encourages those standing with you. So everybody keep that in mind when you're making an attribute check. So long as the forsworn is not dead, he can encourage you to do. His presence encourages you to do better. So add 1. I'm guessing. That didn't help. 8 to surf it.
So I still don't I'm 14. That's what a plus. Is that +1 or +2? 14s.
I
14's
Wait, no.
14's
Right,
plus 1.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
That's brutal. Okay.
One of the ways I run games, and I've done this even since the AD&D days. I don't really pay any attention to the players' abilities. That's for the players to tell me what their characters do.
That's why I'm apologizing.
You're good. All right, no, you're looking at it. You can't quite make out what it is. I mean, it doesn't. The lexicon of monsters that you've encountered in your past, it doesn't quite ring a bell. But you guys are half out of the tree line, half in it, and the creature's kind of flown out of sight. What are we doing?
Breathing a sigh of relief.
I'll stand up and collect my shield.
All right.
Now, did we
I thought it was maybe
down this path, or do I have to help both these people up the hill?
No, they can probably make it. The shield clearly didn't work out as well as Scott had hoped, but the barbarian just fell down because he was looking too hard. It was just
it was
paying
slippery. That scree hill was a little bit slippery. I didn't expect
That's
that. I'm usually good in the mountains. I apologize for that, guys. I'll try not to bring attention to us like that again.
Cormac is crying. He is laughing so hard.
I guess I'm gonna start heading down the hill and watching my footing.
Okay. All right. I assume everybody follows Rhino there as you guys begin kind of breaking from the tree line. Like I said, as the further down you get, you can almost taste. You can feel the brine. Is that the word? Is that the word? Mist from water is brine. Is that the word? The mist that's coming up from the flowing stream below. When you get off of the cliff face, you can see to your left this large glacial lake that you knew was there for quite a while. And this thing is spilling into this very narrow chasm that's about 100 feet deep. The water here is clearly very cold, and it's moving very fast as it tumbles off and down to the south and west, where it will eventually go to the Mistbane River, no doubt, which is where you guys are eventually headed. You know you want to get to the Mistbane so you can get whatever passing boat to get you back to civilization, where you can enjoy the gold that you've earned with so much effort. When you get up to the bridge area, like I said, it's about 200 odd feet across. You got a good 100 feet, maybe 120 feet, the chasm below. And then when you get to the edge of this bridge, you can almost taste the water. I mean, it's very chilly. It's just, mountain spring water that's wafting up through the currents from below. The dark forest in front of you, the sun's beginning to set. You got a couple of hours ahead of you before the sun dips below, but you've got, at this altitude, you've got some pretty thick pine. So before you get to that structure you saw earlier, you're going to have to weave your way through a little bit of dark forest before you can. But I need everybody to make a wisdom check. This is a spot check before you begin crossing the bridge.
Oh,
Cool. I only got a 6.
A 4.
So failed.
Total of 13.
23.
23.
All right, who got the
24 if I
23?
get to add that one for
Your favorite character.
All right. the gnome monk. All right, so you guys are kind of broken free. Barbarian, you're a little bit in the front. The rest of you guys are kind of moving down the party. Steven, what did you get on your check?
13.
Same. All right. Cormac, what'd you get?
Got a total of 13.
Okay. All right. Gnome, you spy it first. You're actually behind the group at this point, moving a little bit slower than everybody else for obvious reasons. Your footing is a little bit more sure, but your legs are a little bit more short. And as they're kind of getting down to where the bridge is, looking over the edge or whatever everybody's doing, you spy to your right that creature again, and it's circled back around. It's a little bit higher now, probably a couple 100 feet above the chasm, and it's gliding in your direction.
It's coming back, guys.
All right, so the gnome shouts. We're going to start at the top. Brett, what are you doing? And give me when you go through, give me a quick description of your character. Let's set that up for everybody out there.
Okay, Elven Ranger, chainmail hauberk, a long sword, long bow, and a bill hook.
Oh, yeah.
How thick are the woods here? Do we get into a partial cover at all?
On this side of the bridge, you've got very little cover. You've got none where you are. You've got about 50 feet between the bridge and where the ridge goes up. And on the ridge, you've got large boulders, a little screed, and some kind of knobby little pines. On the other side of the bridge, you've got much more cover.
And how far are we to get to the other side of the bridge?
About 200 feet. It's about 4 rounds or so. Well, maybe 3 rounds if you start running like a madman.
Okay, so is the gnome able to point out where the creature is so I can see it coming?
Yeah, I mean, he shouts, and I assume, but Monk, you point up, and the creature's it's
How soon will it get? How soon will it get to us?
It all depends on what kind of speed it's moving at, and you can't quite tell just looking at it. It's moving fast, though. I'll tell you that.
Okay, I will. I'll get my longbow out and ready to hit it.
Okay, bow out. All right, so Bubba Wright, I'm really having trouble with your name.
That's all right. Just call me Tito.
All right, do a quick description of your character and what you're doing.
All right, so I've got a half elf of a human lineage, class of Forsworn, mid-size, about 5'7", roughly, kind of svelte, but fit, about $160. I think I got to hold down my press to talk. Yeah, for my half elf, he's probably early adult. Struts around wearing some queer belief and wears a bar boot for a helmet and carrying around a medium steel shield. In general, walks around with a javelin in hand, ready to use that if necessary, but once melee ensues, he's not scared to use his sleeve tangler, +2, and is quick to use field expedient weapons where necessary, such as a dual-headed hatchet, hammer, his e-tool, or a crowbar.
Nice. All right.
Emperor Gumby, always flexible.
Yeah. All right, but Monkey, let's give a quick description. Oh, wait. Well, so Forsworn, what are you doing?
Yeah, so that said, I am going to try to take note of where this creature is and heft that javelin up and look for the first or the nearest point of cover that I can if I need to rush to it.
All right, so you'd have to fall back about 50-odd feet, maybe 30 feet, give or take, to the ridge line behind you. Do you start moving back that direction?
No, I will not. I will. I'll advance instead. Screw that.
All right, good deal. All right, but Monkey, quick description. What do you do?
Sure. Mr. Binkers is a gnome monk, 3.5 feet tall. He wears a vest so he can show off his 18-pack. Normally fights with a tomahawk and a Bowie knife because his fists are just too dangerous. And I'm going to kind of hang back and see what the rest of the party's doing. If people charge ahead, I'm charging ahead. If everyone cowers in the trees, I cower in the trees.
All right. Barbarian, we've already got your description, so what are you doing?
Well, as I'm covered in dust, Dag pulls out his spear, lines himself up in a way that if he throws it, it's not going to go into the crevasse or whatever, the ravine.
Gotcha.
But looks around, sees no cover, braces himself.
So your name triggered me. There was what was that comic book back from the 1970s? Dagar. There was
Hagar?
Yeah.
Hagar the
No,
Hare?
not Hagar. This was a sword and sorcery, kind of like a caveman, I think. No, he was a Dagar. Whatever. A long time ago. Really cool comic book. Rhino, so give me a quick description and what are you doing?
Kill the monk.
Yeah, I'm Kibu, the slow but strong, a cleric of Bast, the clawed slayer. Did mail on. He's coppery skin, bald head, and he carries a pretty nice khopesh, Egyptian style sword. It's curved, and
Oh yeah.
I was actually, I had no idea what's going on, and I was intending to go fill my water skin.
All right, so you're kind of on the edge, realizing that it's quite a trip down to to fill your water skins as all this is as unfolding. All right, Stephen Chalmers, what do you? That good, Rhino?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, Stephen, give us a quick description and what are you doing?
So my character is Bronmar Iron Fist. He's a dwarven fighter, armed with chainmail armor, carries a shield and a battle axe, all +1. He also carries a light crossbow, which is currently in hand. He is wanting to get across the bridge, but doesn't want to be the first one to run out there with this thing swooping in. So he's going to move kind of in that direction, but not run out on the bridge.
All right, gotcha.
And ready his crossbow. So.
Okay. Scott, what are you doing? We've got your description. You're just kind of, we know what you look like. What are you doing?
Gosh, and we're right next to the bridge with 200 feet to go, right?
Yes.
I think I can make this work. I'm going to start sprinting towards and across the bridge.
Okay, and you had leather on, is that right? No, you had chain on.
Chain, yeah.
Okay.
Kill the monk.
So,
all right.
However fast I can go, maybe I can convince that thing I can be bait.
Okay. And Cormac, what are you doing?
I'm gonna make a beeline for the tree line, as it were. Get under cover.
Okay. All right. So you fall back a little 50 feet. So you guys are kind of spread out here. Some of you moving towards the bridge, some kind of moving forward a little bit to engage if the creature's coming at, some of you going back to the tree line, sprawled out. Obviously, if it's a predacious creature, then it's got any one of you or make a perfect target because none of you haven't formed a shield wall or anything like that, right? You haven't gathered in a group. So one of you is going to be bait, clearly. And you see the creature. So in the next melee round, everyone's kind of holding their action except the fighter starts barreling. You're a fighter, right, Scott?
Yep.
Yeah, it starts barreling across the bridge. You all clearly see the creature as he's coming in at his glide. It flies very much like a buzzard, if you're familiar with that. But, broad wings, and it uses air currents to move itself. You can see it kind of flattens out. Its tail flattens out even more. It pulls its legs in just a little bit more, dips its wings a little bit to the left, and veers immediately towards the bridge as Scott is just barreling across it. And it begins its very rapid descent as it's plunging in.
It's working. It's working.
Well,
it is definitely working. All right, so
damn,
Scott,
I was going to stab it with my spear.
Well, hold on just a second. So Scott, I want you to roll initiative first, as we see who's moving a little bit faster, you or the creature.
And initiative is going to be a D20.
It's a D10 for initiative. In my game, it's a straight up D10. Don't add any bonuses to it. So just when you roll.
It's a 0.
So that's a 10. All right. So you're moving fast. I mean, you take off across that bridge in that first melee round, you cover about 25, 30 feet. Now in Castles and Crusades, you can actually pick up into a charge. By your second and third melee round, you can be moving 120 odd feet around. So I assume that's what you're doing, Scott. You're just
booking it. Just
as fast as you can. So that first round, you start moving, and then going into the second round, you're moving extremely fast. Creature pivots just a little bit, going at you all. So this is going to cause an immediate problem for everybody that's using spears and javelins, because you can see as Scott's covering the bridge, this creature's tilting just a little bit to the left, which is getting it further and further from range. I think a good range on a spear and javelin is about 30 feet. Now you can throw it up to 90, but you're going to start getting minuses on that. So you can start running forward if you want, out and onto the bridge to kind of engage in that direction, or you can hold your action and see if Scott can take it itself. Now the bowman can start shooting at any point. You're going to get a little bit of a minus at this range, but next round you'll be on target.
I had never thought of throwing the spear. I was bracing it in case it dove at me to get my double damage.
What
I
about
was
my?
hoping it would come in, but it's like I wasn't, as a barbarian, I wasn't going to go run out. So
What about my longbow?
stay there.
Can I get a shot with my longbow?
Yeah, go ahead. And this round, take -2 on that. Next round, it'll be normal as everything closes up. Someone else had a crossbow there. Chalmers, did you have a crossbow, I believe? Yep.
Yes, and I
You
will
want to go ahead and
fire
take a shot?
I only rolled a 12 with the negative.
All right. Your arrow goes wild just a little bit. You can't quite get a bead in on it. Rhino, did you? No, you had your water flask out. You were going to get You're going to get some water.
Get some water.
Damn it! I just wanted a drink of water. Steven, what'd you get?
So I had a 19 with the -2. So
All right, that hits the creature squarely.
17 plus 4.
Give me some damage on that. That hits him pretty cleanly. That's 1d4.
What's the damage?
I think it's 1d4, though. I don't know. Maybe. I think it's 1d4. Then like one.
I got D6 on the pre-gen sheet.
That's perfect. Go
I roll a
there.
D4.
Page 64.
I rolled a D6 and rolled a 4.
There you go. That'll work for me. All right. So you thump the creature. Cormac, go ahead and take your shot if you're taking a shot.
I've got a hand crossbow, so I don't think it's really in range for that.
That's got a very short card. Okay, yeah. So you're kind of holding back, and that was it on the bows. Javelin? Are you forsworn? Are you throwing your javelin? Well, that's really.
Well, what I'd like to do is kind of trot down there a little bit to close the distance between myself and that bridge, and if it's possible, to align myself for when I miss that the javelin's going to end up landing on the other end of the bridge.
You can definitely try that. Absolutely. So you're just getting with the bridge, so you can throw down the bridge as Scott gets attacked. That's really
yes.
And proof.
That's kind of what the barbarian was doing since he was bracing, and as he goes by, he comes back towards the.
All right. So you two, the force of the barbarian, move forward and sync, getting to the edge of the bridge at this round. All right. But Monkey, what are you doing?
I'm charging across the bridge. I've got a movement rate of 40 as a base. I'm small, but I'm fast.
Oh, that's right. You're. I was thinking you're small and slow, but you're a monk, so you do get a little bit faster. All right, so you start tearing off after Scott. All right, so clearly you can see it just swoop down. It doesn't fold its wings in anything like that, like an eagle will do just before it strikes. This thing keeps riding the currents quite easily and just swoops in on Scott. So what we've got now, the barbarian and Forsworn are running forwards, and the monk just kind of barrels past them a little bit. Bridge is wide enough, about 20 feet wide. So you're at this natural bridge, about 20 feet wide. So it's not, insanely difficult to get three of you abreast as you're pummeling across it. Creature strike, you're still going to be another round unless you hurl your javelins and weapons. You're still going to be another round as Scott's tussling with this creature. However, crossbow and longbow, you guys can go ahead and take a shot without minuses. And Scott, give me an initiative.
All right.
Is there a railing or anything on the bridge?
No, it's about, gotcha, Scott. It's about, like I said, 20 feet, 25 feet wide, and it's natural. So you've got rock formations all over it. You can easily hold onto it. If you fall over, you're not going to slide off the side very easily, though you certainly could. Chuck, did you get that picture? I don't know if Chuck, you still with us?
I'm always here. Kill the monk.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know if you guys can see. Can they see the stream? I don't know if they can see the stream.
I'm assuming
I have it on the side. Okay, I see it.
Okay. Yeah, that's sort of what the natural bridge looks like. If for those of you guys who can see it. So it's a little bit flatter though. It doesn't have that kind of hump in the middle. But there's enough to grab a hold of, not so much that a rail that's going to keep you from sliding off the side. All right. So Scott, what is your armor class?
17.
Nice.
All right, let me read this real quick.
The monk must die.
All right. He's getting there.
I don't hate you, Derek. I really don't.
I don't believe you.
All right, so
A message on Discord, Dave.
It swoops right above Scott as he's running. It gets a little bit in front of him. It's clear to all of you guys this is an extraordinarily skilled aerial hunter. It flies in front of Scott. It doesn't pivot in front of him, but its tail, as it flies up, it goes up into the air a little bit. Its head craning up, its torso almost perpendicular with the bridge, and its tail swoops back around and opens up into 4 long tentacle-like appendages and immediately begins to wrap these around or attempt to wrap these around the fighter who is nobly trying to get across the bridge.
Oh, goodness, this is ugly.
Noble. Yes, noble.
Nobly. What is your armor class?
17.
Well, that's good armor class, and I'm rolling not good at all. All right, you actually managed to dodge underneath the creature. You can see it just, smacking left and right, trying to get at you. You step to the side, left, right, so you can pivot and fight, or you can keep on barreling.
I would love to pivot and fight and drive my axe into this thing.
All right, so quick question. You're running, right? Creature comes in at you from your flank. As its tentacles are all around you, are you pivoting at that point and swinging, or are you going to run a little bit further, turn back around, and try to engage?
I could probably hit the tail if I just stop and pivot, maybe, right? Or
yeah, if you run a little further, you're going to get a little bit of a minus on your roll as you're trying to get back into the fracas.
I'll just pivot where I'm at right here.
You pivot, actions in hand. Go ahead and take a hack at the creature. And while you're doing that, Brett, what did you get on your shot?
I missed. I had 11 total.
All right, Steven, what'd you get?
10.
Did you shoot your crossbow again?
Yes, I had a 14 to hit.
All right, 14 misses. That goes wild. All right, Scott, what do you got?
So it's a D20 plus all my bonuses, so a 17.
That hits. You cut into one of the tentacles.
Oh, goody. For 3, 6, 7 damage.
All right, you cut it pretty good. Creature goes back up and pivots off of you, going down perpendicular. Now, that's not quite this round, but it's next round, but it's clearly pivoting off of you all. All right, so the only ones who haven't acted, Rhino, what are you doing this round?
So I'm gonna something's happening. So I'm gonna pull out my weapon, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm at or how close I am to.
So the bridge. So you're kind of looking over the chasm there, down and into the water. A minute ago, and the bridge is to your right, and most of the party is either on the bridge, running across it, or moving in that direction. Except 2 of them, the ranger and the dwarf, are shooting crossbows and longbows.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey, wait for me. I pull out my sword, head over to the bridge, and step next to the fighter who took a swing at that thing.
All right, so you start barreling down. The party's long since grown used to you bringing up the rear. So just your rear guard as you slowly
It should be actually listed last here, probably.
Yeah. All right, Cormac, you can see just the tide of war is pulling everyone onto the bridge. What do you do?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to move for the bridge. I've still got my hand crossbow out, so I want to try and get out there and charge over to the bridge and see if I can get at least within 30 feet of the thing, so I'm at least in range of my hand crossbow.
Short range. All right. So everyone now is kind of moving down on the bridge, and the creature now, this very large creature beating the wind around itself, and its fetid stench is just wafting across you, Scott. I mean, it's kind of choking you as you stand in the midst of all these tentacles and filth. The creature clearly does not groom itself like even a bird would do. It just stinks to all heaven. But you cut it pretty good, and it pivots and starts going up the bridge in the direction of your comrades. And in the forefront of that is the monk as he's barreling along to engage his creature. Now, Barbarian and Forsworn, you guys are right behind him. You have 2 choices. You have spears and javelins in hand as the creature is clearly fixing to attack the gnome, who I assume you're going to engage it. But Monkey, you're not going to dodge out of the way. You're going to leap into the fray with it.
Oh, hell no, yeah. Engage.
Okay, so he's clearly fixing that. So you can stop and hurl your weapons, or you can run forward to engage with the gnome.
It's time now to throw that javelin. I have faith in my skill.
All right, so you're going to stop and throw, and hold on that just for a second. Barbarian, are you running forward or?
Well, what's this intimidate thing that I have? Can I intimidate to try to get him to come fight me?
You can You can attempt to, but usually creatures. I mean, you might be able to intimidate.
Like to taunt him to get him to come to me instead, but okay. No.
Yeah, it's possible, but that's going to be an action that you take that round that you're
Then
trying to.
I'll go ahead and throw my spear.
Okay, so you two are going to throw.
Yeah.
And Scott, I assume that you're going to pursue this creature as it flies back up the bridge.
Oh yeah, since I've already pivoted, I can just chase after it.
Right, you can just hack and chop. Okay, so Cormac and Rhino, you guys are running onto the bridge as everything kind of comes to a head at the crown of this bridge. So what I want everybody to do, except Rhino and Cormac, because you guys are moving forward, is just roll an initiative. I got a 6 on that, so if you got above a 6, let me know, and you're going to act.
8.
Steve, I'm going to do a charge attack. I'm supposed to declare that before I roll.
Okay. All right, so whoever above the 6, take your shot, swing, throw, shoot, whatever it is that you're doing.
And I'm charging, and I have an 8, and I'm switching to my bill hook to charge with my pole arm.
Okay. Barbarian, what'd you get on your shot?
I got an 18.
All right, that hit. Your spear sticks the creature.
Thrown
as it's
spear,
swooping in.
1d6 plus 2. So 6.
All right. Steven, are you shooting again or are you running forward?
I'm going to run forward this time, but
Okay,
I only rolled a 3 on my initiative.
Okay. And Forsworn, what'd you get on initiative?
I only got a 5.
Okay. And Butt Monkey, where are we at?
I rolled a 2.
Okay. And Scott?
Just a 1.
Okay. So the creature swoops in, and it actually, as you're swinging at it, Scott, it takes a slightly different tactic. It's huge, as I described it a moment ago, its huge shovel-like head goes low, and it clearly just starts scraping the bridge and slams or attempts to slam into the gnome. What is your armor class?
Well, normally it would be 15, but because I made the brilliant decision to charge, it's only an 11.
Okay.
Here you go, Chad.
So we got it slams into you pretty hard. I need you to make a dexterity check. You take 7 points of damage. It hits hard in the chest and the side of the head. You can immediately feel the blood running to up to your face as bruising begins.
I rolled a 16 on my dex check modified, and you said it was 7 points of damage?
Yeah, 6, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. It's a long time
6,
ago.
okay.
6, yeah. I think it was 6.
Okay.
What is that short-term memory loss movie, Memento or something? Whatever it is, you relieve the say. I can't remember anything that happened 5 minutes ago. All right, so it slams into you. If you manage to keep your footing, you're swinging, I take it, X and knife or something? Now everybody can take it.
I'm hawking a Bowie knife.
Okay, yeah, take your swings. Scott, swing, javelin, hurl.
Yeah, it's an 18. Actually, that's a 25. 4, 7, 4, 8 damage.
All right.
Who was 21 and a 19?
Both of those
gnome.
The gnome.
So I got a modified 9 on my javelin toss.
Okay. It hits the creature, bounces off. Roll a d20. If you roll a 1 to a 10, it stays on the bridge. 11 to 20, it bounces off.
Yes.
There you go.
I rolled a 20.
I did 7 points of damage on its way off.
All right, so you start slamming the creature or chopping it with your knife and whatnot. Did I get everybody? Everybody that was shooting and acting that round, right? Everybody took your actions. All right, so this round, now the fracas is in the middle of it. Forsworn, you didn't run forward, so you're still like 15 or 20 feet back. The creature's right on top of the gnome. Scott, you're right behind it, and the rest of you are barreling forward, and you're immediately going to start running into a problem where you're kind of bouncing off of each other. This isn't a clear bridge where you can stand on easily. It's, a natural bridge, so it's rough cut rock, what have you, eroded rock, so you can pretty easily slip off. Something to grab a hold of, but slip down or bump into one another. So as you guys are kind of cascading down, Forsworn, are you going forward or are you hanging back?
Oh, no, I'm going to continue forward now that I have a free hand and grab my sleeve tangler and get ready to rumble.
Out comes your blade. And Barbarian, you're right behind him. And you're running forward as well.
Pull out my bearded axe.
Okay. All right. So that's going to put the three of you guys kind of up front. The gnome, the Forsworn, and the barbarian, and then Scott behind. So the rest of you guys, Cormac, Steve, Brett, and Rhino, as you kind of running down the bridge together, you can try to maneuver around this fracas, but no combat is really stationary, right? The creature's going to be moving to the left and right. The fighters and warriors are going to be sidestepping and swinging. So moving around it is going to pose a little bit of a risk because you could get knocked off. Not easily, but it's possible that you get knocked off. So is anyone moving around, or are you going to just kind of hold or pull missile weapons out, or what?
Well, with my pole arm, I should have some kind of ability to reach, and I want to try and do a equivalent like a dismount, effectively pull it to the ground.
Okay.
So I'll try and do that. That's my maneuver.
All right, so you move forward and try to get, I assume, around the gnome. What about you, Steven? Are you going to press in and get around or hold?
I'll hold, and if I can, have another shot with the crossbow.
Okay, so you're going to just kind of... and Rhino, you're going to hold, you're going to swing in, or you're just going to barrel in there?
No, I better not. I'm going to switch out. I have a throwing hammer. I'll get that ready.
Okay. And Cormac, I assume that you're going to stop and take a shot?
That is correct.
Okay. All
Go
right.
within
So,
about 30 feet and shoot away.
all right. So let's. This is the only part. There's a few parts when I'm running games that I can't quite get the pacing right on this online stuff, and combat's one of them with initiatives. Because last time I asked you if you made above a 6, but then I didn't know who got initiative. I couldn't tell who was saying who was saying what, so I didn't know what it was because I didn't know what happened. So let's go ahead and roll initiative. Everybody's in the fracas at this point. And I got an 8. So if you got a 9 or a 10, hold up your hand. Let's see. Let's see if that works. All right. So the Forsworn, you're barreling up in there. The creature's still attacking the gnome. Go ahead and swing with your sleeve tangler, I think you said.
Modified 16.
That misses. You hit the creature pretty hard on the side. As it's lifted itself up, it clearly tried to knock the gnome over, lifting itself up. Its tail unfolds again and battering the gnome with a variety of attacks. And you can see now that you all are rather close to this creature, the tail clearly, each of these appendages opens into a large kind of broad octopus-like arm. And there's little nubs all over it, clearly designed to grab and hold on to something. And that's what it's going to attempt to do to our good gnome here. And what was your armor class?
It's back to a 15.
Okay. All right. So he easily gets one of these tentacles around you. Second tentacle goes around you, and you can tell as those nubs kind of rip, they bury in and rip, start tearing into your flesh, ripping up your armor somewhat. And you can just, the vial kicks up into your mouth as you're trying to fight off the pain that's coming through. Not too much damage, 5 points of damage, but it definitely lifts you up and off the bridge. Now everybody can swing, hack, chop, shoot, whatever it is that you're doing.
Can I swing? Are my arms free?
Who said that?
No,
yeah. Yeah. Who said that? It wraps around your lower torso and around your legs. One of your arms is free. One of your arms is pinned. The second tentacle comes around. So take one swing at it. Or you can attempt.
I forgot to do it.
No, you can attempt to break free if you're inclined.
I'll attempt to break free, and I did an extra 4 points of damage last round. I forgot my charge damage.
Okay. All right, so
17 on a strength check to break free.
What if we're trying to do something?
Not break free. You're trying to get through the creature. You just can't quite get out of there. Brett, we're going to start with you. What did you get on your attack?
I hit a 21 armor class.
That hits. Give me some damage.
I rolled 11 points of damage. And I tried to do a maneuver to try and pull it to the ground. If you think that works, then it should be a dexterity check for the creature.
You grab the creature. Clearly, your swing is good enough. You grab one of those tentacles, actually one of the ones that's around the gnome, and you hold the creature stationary. It's much too large and much too strong for you to pull it down, but you're definitely holding it from doing what it clearly wants to do.
So it's effectively a type of pin check then?
Well, you're not going to be able to pin it because he has so many attacks, but you can try to hold it.
Okay.
All right, Forsworn, what did you had sleeve tangler, I think.
I'm sorry. Yes.
We saw that surreptitious move there.
Hey, I'm not a rogue. I'm not good at sleight of hand. All right.
Rogue, and I'm not good at sleight of hand.
All right, so modified 21.
All right, you carve into it.
and a 9 for damage.
Nice.
That opens its side deep and down into its leg. All right, and the gnome is trying to break free. Barbarian, take your swing.
And I'm trying to actually use the beard part of the axe to, if I can get a wing pull down, or the same type of thing that he did with the helmet.
Anything to pin the poor creature.
Yeah, and let's see, that's a 20. 16
You got
plus
him.
the total. Okay, so that's 3d4s. Plus 3, 10.
All right, your blade is just too sharp. It actually opens its flesh, tearing part of its wing pretty ferociously. You don't bring it down, but you do wound it pretty good. Rhino, what do you got?
Oh, is it looking pretty sad?
It's pretty banged up at this point.
Okay. I'll you know what? I'm just gonna throw my light hammer at it.
Okay, hurl away. Yes, Pondream, it's a poor creature.
Oh yeah, I don't know
Hammer
what happened to it.
All right, so you throw the hammer. Give me a d20, a 1 to 10. It stays on the bridge. 11 to 20, it bounces off.
Oh, there's my 20.
Oh.
Again, nice.
I look at it. I look at it sadly as it flies off the edge.
Down into the foamy water below. All right, Stephen Chalmers, what do you got? I think you're taking a shot at it.
19 to hit.
All right, give me some damage.
5 points of damage.
All right, bolt sticks into it. Scott, what do you got?
I rolled a 1.
You drop your blade to your feet. It just falls to the ground as you're just too excited trying to kill this creature. All right, Cormac, take your shot.
All right, I got a total of 18.
Yeah, that got it.
All right, and that's a 3 points of damage from my hand crossbow.
All right, it sticks him as well, and clearly with all of these horrific wounds and being pinned by the pole arm of the elf, the creature flags a little bit, dips down to the ground, unloosing the gnome, and then just kind of falls, hits to the ground, and it begins to kind of thrash back and forth as it settles into its death throes.
Does anybody have a hammer?
I know where you can get one.
It's a short dive from here.
Anybody got a cure light wounds?
Oh, yeah, I can do that. So who got hurt? The
Monk.
power of
I got
axe.
slapped around a bit by the tentacles.
Keep trying, Steve. Keep
did.
trying.
All right, I do a cure light wounds on our happy little. It was the gnome monk, right?
What was his name?
Yes.
Correct.
Mr.
Binkers.
Mr. Binkers.
Yeah.
It's the greatest name.
I can't.
It's you know, I just want you to know in my regular game, if someone showed up with a name like that, I would just kill them outright.
Damn.
Pretty much.
Keep working on it.
Okay, you get 2. Oh, that's not very good. Well, maybe later.
I can't remember what.
All right, thank you.
Todd showed up to the game and he'd made this brand new character. I can't remember what his name was, but it was a ridiculous name. And this would be like 1986. And whatever we were saying to say hello, his character said it. And I blue bolted him immediately. I just blue bolted it and killed his character immediately. Todd and I have that. We have a funny relationship at the table. He played a halfling once, and he knows I don't like, when I'm playing games, I don't like things that are kind of, whatever, cartoonish or whatever. So he bought a mule, and he put a hat on a mule, and he cut ear holes into it.
So what happened to the mule?
Do what?
Did the mule survive?
Oh, of course the mule survived. I'm not going to kill a mule. That's crazy.
You punished your brother.
It's not a monster.
It's not a monster, exactly. I'll kill Todd. All right, so you got
Binkers.
yeah, not Mr. Beakers. Mr. Beakers has Todd's a hoot. That's what Todd is. Someone in the chat says Todd sounds like a hoot. Yeah, he's very entertaining. He and I go way back. We have this really funny. If I play so rarely. I'm usually the DM or CK, and so when I play, I really want to get into combat and do stuff fast. I don't do a lot of role play. And anytime the game kind of slows a little bit or there's stuff going on, Todd and I immediately start attacking each other. Our characters have killed each other for years. It's just kind of nonstop, much to our other DM's frustration. But what are you going to do? All right. So You guys are on this stony bridge that's over this chasm where the hammer is now found a permanent home. I assume. I mean, you may want to go fetch it. It's only a couple 100 feet down.
My rope is only 50
Actually, I want to
feet.
look
I
down
think
and
you've
see if we can
lost
see
your
what.
hammer.
And
See if we can see
looking
what this
down,
monster was looking at.
there doesn't seem to be anything particular that you can see down there. You've got maybe 200 feet that go down, and at this portion of the chasm, actually the rock face kind of narrows in somewhat. So by the time you're at the bottom, it's probably around 120 odd feet. The cliffs are very climbable. I believe a barbarian, I think, has definitely a ranger, but has a climbing ability. Looks like you probably could get down there. The water is moving. It's clearly channeled. You can see the glacier lake from this point. Very cold, still some chunks of ice kind of floating around in it, and clearly enough still melt off from the summer, and that it's pushing this torrent pretty good. So you got a pretty good current below you.
Yes, I have primeval instincts. That should.
You don't see
I
anything.
prefer survival instincts, and we should get across the bridge.
No, we should go down into the water. He hates water, right?
Go swimming.
Everybody knows.
All right. So what's the plan?
Well,
Actually,
I think we should proceed across the bridge.
Okay. All right. I assume that everybody's going to follow the ranger's lead there. So I need everybody to make a wisdom check. Add your level and add your attribute bonus, and let me know if it's a prime. Brett, I'm going to start with you. What do you?
I rolled a 2. It's a failure.
Okay, Forsworn.
Modified 22, and it's a secondary.
Okay. Butt monkey.
12 and not prime.
12 non-prime. Okay, eat to serve.
18 not prime.
I'm literally like an infant. Every time I say butt monkey, I just start laughing. So it's
I'll fix it for you.
okay. Rhino, what'd you get?
27. That's with I added 6. It's prime.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that's what we're doing. All right, Steven, what do you got there?
A 13, not a prime.
Scott.
7, not prime.
Cormac, what do you got?
Modified 28. It's a prime.
Okay. You guys are crossing the bridge, and as you're probably about two-thirds of the way across. And Rhino, you're just clearly just pining for your fallen hammer. And looking back over your shoulder, you can see underneath the bridge span here a series of caves that seem to be carved in, natural caves underneath the bridge, maybe 40 odd feet down. It's 2 of them. One has a decent entrance that you can clearly see, but you'd need a closer examination, or to kind of see what's going on. The other one looks like a splunking cave.
Oh, hey, whoever's next to me, I nudge him and point that out. Hey, look, there's a cave. Let's go in it.
I think you're right.
Let's go in.
How far down is it?
About 200 feet.
Oh,
That's
Well, I'm sorry. The cave's about 40 feet. Sorry. The cave's about 40 feet down. 30 feet, 40 feet. Yeah.
well, that's okay. Yeah, no, I thought you
Mr.
meant 200
Fingers. Much
feet.
that's better.
Is it easy to scale down to that location?
Wow, how hard could it be?
I do have a rope.
So rangers have natural climb abilities. I can't remember if the barbarian has a natural climb
The
ability.
rogue also does.
I get a +4 on physical attribute checks.
Okay, so there's no natural climb. So the ranger could get down to the problem. Now the rogue, actually, double check that. I believe that's just in cities, on walls. I could be wrong on that though.
I just got it listed under class abilities: climb, dexterity, 1d20 +4.
Okay, let me double check if I can find it. I believe the differentiation is the rangers is natural outdoor, and the rogues is walls and such. Chuck, you remember offhand? Are you still with us?
What's the rule? What's the question?
The rogue's climb ability.
Natural
I got it
and
in front of me.
man-made surfaces.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, absolutely.
Deerstalker gives ability capable of climbing typical natural slopes and inclines.
All right, so you're good
There you
too. So
go.
you can go down without a check. And the rest of you now, just to let everybody know, if you're playing Castles and Crusades and you're looking at your class abilities, if it's got a attribute listed in parentheticals, that means you need to make an attribute check to achieve that. If it does not, it's just an ability that you have that you can do. So I'm assuming, without looking at anything, that those are just abilities that you don't have to make a check for. I could be wrong. Bah, we're not gonna worry about it. So,
It's in the free handbook that you so graciously give out. That I
all right. I don't know. I don't ever look at that stuff. It's up to the players to tell me what they can do. That's why I get in trouble with things like floating discs because I don't really know what it does.
Yeah, well, that guy.
Yeah.
So we have enough rope, grappling hooks, and stuff. We should be able to rig something up to climb down fairly safely. I mean, I have 2 50-foot silk ropes.
And I have 50-foot rope and can get down there without a roll. So I see no problem getting down to the cave. I can carry the rope, throw.
Sure.
You hold one end. You guys can zip line in. Looks
All right,
great.
so I'm going to assume that everybody's kind of stopped and listening, at least minimally, to this conversation. Or has anyone kept going across the bridge and just continue on home? I assume we're all hanging on the bridge.
I'm looting the body.
Looting the body. They're looking over. I mean, clearly it's just a creature. It doesn't have anything to clearly loot. You can try to cut it open or something.
No, totally cut open that stomach. Let's see if there's any license plates or anything in there.
Okay. All right, so you pull your tiny gnome dagger out. No, you pull your dagger out and begin to kind of just carve into it. Clearly, the creature's got a very thick hide. It's not going to cut easy, so that's going to prove to be a job. As he begins that, so everyone's on the bridge. Anyone leaving the bridge? If you're leaving,
no, I'm getting off the bridge as soon as he does that. That's gross. That's going to
Kill the monk.
The monk was even cutting him open.
And
So
is this dagger
I'm getting off the
monogrammed?
bridge.
Is it monogram Mr. Binkers or whatever?
There you go. All right.
Binky knife.
So the question stands: are we going to try to do some kind of zip line or climb down to this cave, or are we going to just head off to the forest?
I'm all right with climbing down. Yeah,
I'll climb down there and take
To
a
the
look.
cave.
Yeah, climbing
Okay,
down.
let's go to the cave. 'Cause I'm certain my javelin's resting right at the foot of the entrance.
Most assuredly, it's there.
I was gonna say, I think the hammer is teetering on the edge there, isn't it?
All right.
It looks
so-
like it's big enough to have held that the bird thing's house. Does it look like it's big enough for it to fit in there?
The smaller one, definitely not. The bigger one, perhaps. It's very possible that it could fit in.
Ooh.
I'm still going. I
Okay.
don't want to go back to town. I don't like
As
the
a
town.
rogue, I am
Why would I want to go back to
disappointed
town?
with our previous haul, and I think we should explore any opportunities to increase our take on this expedition.
All right. Okay, so as the gnome begins to look for license plates, the rest of you guys kind of moved back across the bridge. The caves are on the other side, and I assume we're just going to do a natural climbability down there. Is that the plan? And I need to know who's going first.
Well,
Tie some ropes together and
Do what?
It's only 40
Yeah,
feet. I
yeah,
think we can fix one 50-foot rope and get down.
Yeah, we're not going to zip line. We're just going to set up a rope so they don't. If they fall into the cave, right?
No,
Pendulum in there.
they're gonna fall down.
It's gonna swing 'em.
Bouncing
They-
involved and
So the question is, and if you guys need to role play it out. I mean, what actually I want you to. What are you going to do? You've kind of gathered at the other end of the bridge, and you've got this straight 50-foot cliff that goes down. Clearly, there's plenty of places to tie ropes off to and to lower down, or you can just begin climbing. Those of you who have the skill to do so.
Yeah, I'm climbing down. I'm climbing
so
down.
is Cormac.
I'm giving the end of my rope to somebody, and then I'm climbing down.
I've got a grappling hook. I can just tie it,
All right.
and stick it in a rock or
on the
something.
bridge or something.
Yeah, we can,
All
we
right.
can anchor it.
You wedge your grappling hook, start to drop the rope. There's Steven and Rhino and the Forsworn left. Are you giving your rope to one of them?
I'll take it.
Okay. So Rhino's got the end of the rope, but now you're not using it. Is that correct? 8 to surf, you're just kind of
Right.
climbing down.
Right. I'm just letting it out as I go because I can climb.
All right, Gnome, you manage to cut into the creature. It pops, and then you manage to kind of a nice good seam and start slicing it open. And as any kind of carcass will, its intestines just begin to spill out. You can just see them just kind of rolling out as you open the creature. Blood kind of washes across, a lot of filth from its stomach and bowels just kind of soak across your feet, into your cloak and whatnot. But you do manage to open the creature.
Yeah, I wasn't the one who cut him open, but okay.
I thought you said you were cutting him open.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, who was cutting him open?
Cormac made the suggestion. He didn't do it though.
Sorry, okay, my bad. All right, so it doesn't open. Clearly, you don't. So, Gnome, what are you doing over there? Does a monk have a climb ability?
I'm gonna wait. No, he does not. I'm waiting for them to tie off the rope, then I'll climb down the rope.
Got it. All right. So when you get on the side of these cliffs, the three of you, I think it's Cormac there, Brett, you're in the barbarian climbing down. The first thing you realize is that everything is just wet. The rock is very wet. There's so much foam and mist coming up from below with this, and it's very cold. It's just clinging to everything. The rock is a lot smoother than you anticipated being, but because it's wet, you're going to have to make a check. So give me a dexterity check. A failed dexterity check is a horrible outcome. So you really don't want to roll poorly on this.
Forget your +1 because of the inspiration guy.
Yes, the force of one. All right, Brett, we'll start with you.
I got a 19 prime.
All right, you're good. Barbarian, what'd you get?
20 prime.
All right, you're good. Cormac, what'd you get?
20 prime.
All right, you guys are good. You guys are moving down. You get down probably about 30 odd feet. Brett, you're ahead of the other two just a little bit. When you guys don't see it, but everyone above who's kind of peering down see it quite clearly. One of these creatures' heads comes out of the cave. It just kind of juts out and immediately pivots up and looks, and then it begins to kind of unfold itself from the cave. So we'll start with you, Forsworn. You see this? What are you doing?
You guys may want to look over there.
Mr. Bankers, what are you doing? I don't know if that's better, but Mr. Bankers, what are you doing?
Look out! They're coming for you.
Rhino, what are you doing?
Well, I'm holding this
No
rope.
one's going to die in just a minute.
Oh my God! I was like, "Oh no, you guys get out of there!" And I'm gonna start casting spiritual weapon.
Okay, all right, very good. Steven, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try to get a shot off at it as soon as I can.
All right, so you kind of move over a little bit, take a shot. So we'll get that next round. You've got your bow and you're ready to go. Crossbow. Scott, what are you doing?
I guess I'm clearly not climbing down.
You can still climb down.
Oh, I don't want to. No.
Do it. Do it.
Something tells me that's a bad idea. I guess I just stand there at the ready, I guess, and if it comes up, then we'll whack at it.
All right, so the next round, it actually comes out and unfolds its wings. It unfolds itself kind of clearly much bigger than it seems. The hole is much bigger than it seems, or the creature's managed to wedge itself into there. And it just kind of falls out of the hole. And as it does so, its wings span out and it catches an updraft and starts to flying up. So, Stephen, you go ahead and take your shot. Brett, what are you doing? You keep going down, you start going back up.
How far above it am I?
You're about 20 feet above the cave, 30 feet from the cliff above. About halfway.
Is it coming up towards us who are climbing down?
It's dropping and catching an updraft. Where it goes from there, you do not know.
I'm going to continue climbing down.
All right, you keep going down. Barbarian, what are you doing?
Climbing down. Regretting that I left my spear in the dead other one. So,
Cormac, what are you doing?
All the way down.
All right, so give me another check on that as you guys go down. And this, at this point, you'll get to the cave as the creature breaks free. Stephen, what did you get on your shot?
18 to hit.
You hit it. You clip it as it comes out.
All right, 5 points of damage.
All right, you clip it pretty good. It banks to the right, going up the stream. Brett, what'd you get on your check?
17.
All right, you're good. Eat to surf, what'd you get?
13 prime.
All right, you're still good. Cormac, what'd you get?
18 prime.
All right, so you guys managed to get down and kind of muscle your way into this cave entrance below, even as the creature kind of banks and pulls itself up. So now that leaves up on the top as the three of you guys are kind of muscling into the cave. That leaves what, 6 of you up on the top. You can clearly see the creature. Does anyone have any bows other than Steven or anything that you can hurl or shoot at this creature at a range?
Yeah, I've got one bow. Yeah.
All right, so you start pulling your bow out. It flies down the chasm, maybe 50, 60 odd feet, and starts banking back around. By that point, you've got your bow out. Anyone else? No with the weapons.
How far away is it? I have a range of 50 feet with that spiritual.
Right now it starts to bank in the next round at about 50 to 100 feet or so. I mean, right at about 100 feet coming back at you. So it'll be at you next round.
Okay.
It'll come.
All right.
It'll come moving in at you. Steven, you take another shot.
I don't have a 14 to hit that time.
All right, that one goes wild. Scott, take your shot as it's coming back around. I'm a little bit ahead of the guys in the cave. You can get the second.
That's a 7.
All right, that goes wild as well. Okay, so Forsworn, Rhino, and Gnome, you guys are up here. Your comrades are shooting, beginning to get weapons out and whatnot. So you kind of got 2 rounds to act before the creature comes at you. What is it you're doing?
I keep in the sleeve tangler in hand and the shield at the ready. And I think I'm going to get close by one of my comrades in case we need to pair up and form a protective wall.
All right, so which comrade is just whoever's nearest you?
How about the one that's taller than me?
Well, it's definitely not the gnome.
Racist.
Nor would it be Steven. So you move up next to Rhino there.
All right, I'll move over there and take a knee.
There you go. Make yourself surreptitious. All right. Gnome, you moving forward, holding your ground and whatever. You guys are kind of spread out.
The thing that came out of the cave, does it look same size, smaller, bigger than the one that we killed on the bridge?
Maybe a little bit smaller. Maybe.
I'm going to head down the rope to the cave.
Okay. All right. You start going down the rope that Scott hooked his grapple on. Hold on now. You start skinning down. Rhino, you holding, waiting for it to hit.
Yeah, I started casting my spiritual weapon. So.
Okay. Oh, that's right. So, but you need a 50-foot range on that. Gotcha. All right. So down below, I'm a little bit ahead of you guys. So Brett, you come in first and kind of drop it right there. You got to maybe 6 feet wide. I think it's a cave a little bit. You can't quite see. It's just dark enough, and the chasm above you, the cliff above you, is just dark enough to keep your vision from kicking in.
And how wide was the entrance?
Probably about 6 feet.
Okay, so it's probably not wise for me to use a pole arm in that. I'll probably take out my longsword then.
Okay. By that time, the gnome or the barbarian drops behind you. You guys start moving forward. It's going to be difficult to see if you get very far in there.
I'll just go in about 5-10 feet and wait for the others to catch up with me.
Okay. All right, barbarian, you drop in next. Any weapons out? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm going to pull out my axe again, but on my way as I got in, I'm going to try to secure the end of my rope. So if whoever has the other end has a tightened thing.
I think it was dropped.
That's not my part. That's not my problem. It's trying to secure a spot and grab my axe.
It's
all right.
Feet.
Good, Cormac. What are you doing?
All right, so as soon as my feet hit the ground of that cave opening, I'm going to draw my broadsword and I'm going to pull my dagger, put my dagger in my teeth, and fall in behind the barbarian.
Okay. So you guys are standing in an entrance, like I said, about 6 feet wide, maybe 8 feet tall, and it snakes on back and into the side of the cliff face there. The rock here is very segmented. It's kind of stacked like pancakes. It's not particularly sharp, but it's not going to be easy just to walk through. You know, you're going to feel the touch of it as you weave yourself forward, and you can tell it kind of narrows somewhat and dips down, and you all can smell there's even more water, even more moisture coming from within. And the ground here, the cave entrance here is covered in all kinds of, it looks like kind of a thick mud, kind of a brownish clay-like mud, but it's got a very odd odor to it too.
Bird shit.
It's almost definitely feces splattered all over the place.
Guano.
Well, I'm glad I'm not scared.
Super guava. Yeah, so I assume that you guys start moving forward and into this cave.
Well, I can't see, so I need to unwrap my bedroll and make a torch if we're going to do that. So I'm going to hold there for a bit.
Okay. Anyone got a torch or a lantern that you're interested in pulling out?
I have the torch. I mean, I have torches.
I have some oil in a flask, but yeah, I'm not going to carry the light source. I would prefer someone
So
else.
if you could go on in, I'll wait here and protect your back from the bird. I can't see.
All right. So as you guys are trying to figure out what's going on with the torches and whatnot, the creature, it hits its updraft, comes back, starts banking towards you guys. And at first, it looks like it's going to go high, as the other one did. But immediately, it dips and starts going low. All right. So as it swoops, you guys can take a couple of shots. Gnome, you're going down. You're about halfway down, holding onto this rope. And you can see clearly that creature has spied you clean to the side of the cliff. And seen an easy target, and it's banking right in your direction. So we'll get to you in just a second, but go ahead. Everybody who's shooting missile weapons, go ahead and fire away.
Is it in range now, Steve?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's an 18 for 8.
18. 8 damage. Is that what you said?
Yep.
All right, arrow thumps it pretty good. Steven, what'd you get?
A 21 to hit, 3 points of damage.
All right, that got him. Rhino, what'd your spiritual weapon do?
The spiritual Kopesh missed.
Okay. Weapon goes. The spiritual hammer Kopesh falls into the. No, all right. So
No, it didn't.
You dropped that too. Damn it!
I didn't roll that bad.
Yeah, if you drop a spiritual weapon, that's pretty bad. That's pretty low roll. All right, so it swoops. You can see it banks to the side, and it comes in. And much as it did before, pulling its head back, it kind of coils itself over, tail unfolding into these 4-like tentacles. But this time, it's clearly just trying to sweep you off the side of the cliff and grab you, Gnome, as he swoops through. What are you doing?
If I had time, on his way in, I wanted to cast Ghost Sound.
Okay.
And try to make the sound of wolves howling right next to its head to see if I can distract it, throw it off, make it swerve. But if it's right here, I'm just going to jump at it. I'm going to meet it halfway.
You actually have time to do both. I mean, you can clearly see it coming in at you. What's the range on Ghost Sound? It's got to be, 50 feet or something?
I believe it's 120, but let me double check.
Here comes Chuck.
150-foot range. Lasts for 1 round per level, and I cast it like a first-level PC.
So what's going to happen is you're going to throw this Ghost Sound, and I'm going to slam into you, and you can attempt to grab it if that's necessary. If that's what you want to do. Is that how we're going to do it?
I thought is if it's coming for me, I'm coming for it. I was going to jump off the wall midair and attack it, and it's flying in at me.
Okay, let's do that. All right, so it swoops in, going underneath the natural bridge. Barbarian, you see the creature. It actually banks to the right, so you see its underbelly, you see its legs, its stubby little legs and its wings as it pivots to the side. Its tail opens up to swoop off the gnome, and then the gnome leaps into the ether to grab a hold of the creature. Give me an initiative. This reminds me of the scene from Reign of Fire. Matthew McConaughey leaps off the tower of the dragon.
Exactly. Mr. Binker.
He wasn't 3 feet tall.
Yeah, this is true. And he died instantly. But
yeah.
Well, just wait.
Mr. Binker.
Wait for it.
Wait, where'd you get initiative?
I got a 10.
Oh, good deal. All right, leap into the air. Give me a dex check.
That didn't go so well. 10 prime.
All right, you leap, completely misjudge, and go underneath the creature. It goes above you, but you just open yourself up to its tentacle attack, so you may get a hold of it anyways, as it slams to you. So your AC is what?
15.
15. It gets you, 3 tentacles. One just smashes you for 5 points of damage, and then one of them wraps around your leg as you pivot back around and start to fall. and that one does 4 points of damage, and then the other one wraps around your waist for another 2 points of damage, and it swoops out from underneath the bridge and going up, carrying you in its tentacles. All right, so next melee round, Barbarian, you see the creature disappear. Do you shout anything, Mr. Binkers, as you leap off the cliff, or baby wall? you hear the gnome say something. God knows what it is, but he said something.
Didn't ask for help. I guess I'm gonna fire again.
And then it banks up, going really up. So you three archers and spiritual weapon, you can take a Leroy Jenkins. Someone shouts in the.
Yeah.
You can take your shots.
I would yell to my. Well, I wouldn't yell. I will say to the people that are behind me, there's still work to be done, and run to the edge with my bearded axe again, wondering why I didn't grab my spear that's in the other one.
All right, Scott, what'd you get on your
I've done
shot?
this hundreds of times. Why did I leave?
It's a 20 for 6.
Oh, that hits. All right, you stick it pretty good. Chalmers, what'd you get?
9.
That the bolt goes wild, and Rhino, take your last swing before it's out of range.
God, 6.
It swings wild. Creature starts to bank up, flying directly up,
Fingers.
beating the air as it lifts itself up and carrying the gnome with it. So, Brett, you and Cormac, you guys have moved into the cave like 15, 20 odd feet. You can see it dips somewhat into a broader chasm in front of you, a broader chamber in front of you that's really too dark at this point. You get a little ambient light from your magic weapons that are kind of spilling in there. But you hear the barbarian shouting behind you, there's work to be done. And then you hear Mr. Binkers go, or whatever he said as he was carried off and into the ether.
What a world! What a world!
Maybe there's some eggs we can ransom.
Ransom for the
Egg
gnome?
For Binkers.
Mr. Binkers. All right.
Do I hear any sounds or pick up any smells or scents inside this cave?
The filth that you're kind of moving through, the stink that you're going through is just too much. And now you can tell that you've gone into just beyond. It's not just the creatures' droppings that are behind. But you can smell kind of the carrion smell of half-eaten corpses. The Icarus goo that comes from bloated carcasses and whatnot. You're definitely in a chamber that's used for feasting of one type or the other.
And it doesn't sound like there's anything else in here then.
Not with you're going to have to light some kind of torch or lantern or something to get a good,
Okay.
a good view of what's going on in here.
And does my deer stalker let me know that if this guano's gonna ignite or anything when we try to light it up?
You're relatively
Big
way
fire
too
come
wet.
out the cave opening and
Yeah, we're not standing in a huge methane cloud, I hope.
As fun as that would be. No. As
All they see is a kaboom and a huge fireball go out the cave.
but I'm going to have to put that somewhere. That's got to go in an adventure somewhere. That's too awesome. Your characters are ejected. Okay. So no, it's so wet. The guana the manure is so wet in the mud, and it's just clearly soaked into whatever, just natural sediment that comes from this type of rock formation. It's not going to catch on. There's nothing going to burn in here.
but it might be worth something for a wizard, so maybe we should scoop some up.
That's true.
Or something for a wizard. We have a veritable gold mine here.
Wizard,
tell them where it is.
So you guys looking to get some kind of light source going, or what are you gonna do?
Well, wasn't someone putting up a light source behind us?
There was talk of making a torch.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to tear up one of my large sacks or something like that.
I have a torch.
Oh well, there you go.
I'll light one up. I was just watching to see if it was going to come back in. If it's not coming back in with Mr. Binkers, I just want to go spelunking.
All right, so you start striking up the torch. All right, so outdoors, Mr. Binkers starts going higher and higher as this creature continues to fly. Spiritual hammers out, crossbows out. You can take one more shot at a -2 if you want. There, Scott, to see if you can't. Are you shooting at Mr. Binkers just to put him out of his misery, or are you going to shoot?
How much hit points does it have versus the flying thing is the question.
Either way, it goes poorly.
Yeah, so a -2, so that's a 4, 18
All right.
for
You
1
actually
damage.
hit. You strike the creature.
For 1 damage.
You nick the creature. He continues to fly up. All right, so Mr. Bankers, he's got you all wrapped up. He's clearly going up, and he pulls all of his tentacles up and underneath his abdomen there, as he's just going straight up, and he's moving at an extraordinarily fast pace. You're about 90 feet above the bridge at this point. What do you do?
Stab my dagger into his gut so I have something to hold on to and start hacking with the tomahawk if I've got arms to work. If my arms aren't
you
working,
got one arm free?
All right. I'll slam that tomahawk into him and hold on for dear life for when his tentacles let go.
Okay. All right, swing.
What happens when he quits?
Oh, there we go.
Fly.
Somebody in the Twitch chat posted that you should use your special 4-finger death punch on him now.
4th level ability. Got a 21 to hit.
All right, you stick your axe into it. How much?
4.
4 points. You stick it pretty good. It goes into some of the scales. You break the skin and down into probably some of the muscle tissue. A little bit of blood wells up, spackles across your axe and into your face. Creature takes absolutely no notice of it. And you can tell at the end of this round, much as you guys, as you're running forward, as you go into a charge, the creature's going into a fly charge, and it's moving extraordinarily fast, almost straight up. Clearly, probably 200, 250 feet around. So you want to be pretty high above the ground by the time, by the end of next round. All right. So the rest of you guys down on the bridge, you see a light kind of spark up from below. You see the gnome going really, really airborne. What are you guys doing?
Just gonna stand there in awe at the beauty of and majesty of this thing flying, and just keep an eye and see where the gnome gets dropped.
All right. Okay. All right. So torches lit. You guys begin to move deeper into the corridor. Steven, Rhino, you guys doing anything? I don't know. There's as much as you can do.
No, I say a prayer and hope that he can survive somehow.
Okay. Steven, anything?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of watch.
Okay. All right. Creature goes up, just like I said, going straight up. And then it throws you, Scott. It's got you in its tentacles. It lets go, and it just kind of throws you up as it's going up and into the air. Your axe isn't buried enough into it. You can try to take another swing and try to grab it if you want, but it's clearly just throwing you up and into the sky. You're probably about 250, maybe close to 300 feet above the cliff face, but another 200 feet above the water below.
Yeah, I'm going to take another swing.
Okay, swing away. If you get really good, you can stick it and hold on.
Okay, so let's talk about falling damage.
I gave you a rope. What'd you let go of the rope?
All right. So your axe kind of goes wild. Creature hurls you up and kind of away from it. It's not some kind of superhuman creature, so it's not like throwing a baseball or something, but it does throw you a good 50-odd feet as you kind of just fly and begin to arc. And you can see as you go up and start going down, the creature's like this. It banks and it kind of folds its head over and begins to pursue you down as you fall down. And you all watch. He falls maybe 150 odd feet before the creature just slams into him with its shovel, and it attempts much like a whale will do when it catches a seal in the ocean. You'll see these killer whales come up underneath it, slap it with a tail, and just play, ball with the crazy little seal. Well, he's clearly attempting to do that as he just slams his head into you and tries to knock you back up and into the air. So what's your AC? Actually missed. Oh my God. So you plummet right past. I rolled a 4. I mean, even with minuses, there's no way. So you just plummet right past him. That's a much better.
Am I going to land on the water or the cliff or the bridge?
Definitely not the bridge. Looks like probably the water, but it's going to be close to the cliff.
Does
Here's
it look
the
like
thing,
I could
I'm
lasso
wearing-
him as he came down?
Rip my leg off. The problem is I'm wearing a ring of water walking, and I don't know what that does to the surface of the water when I hit.
You're gonna turn
I
into a.
told
You're
you
gonna.
he'd find a way to kill you with that.
You're gonna turn into a puddle. That's what's gonna happen.
You're gonna hit the.
Wait,
you're gonna.
wait. You guys mean gnomes can't fly?
Yeah, on the way down, I'm gonna pull the ring off my finger on the way down and try to hold on to it as I can.
Pour your water out beneath you so you can stand on it. That's what you want to do. Yeah, you're going to hit the ground. You're going to hit the water first, and then you can use that to walk if you survive. But unless you've got something else, you just can. But you do got another round. So you guys watch. He plummets. Creature misses. Kind of coils back around, and it tries to ram him again to knock him back up. But he goes past the bridge at this point, and down another. He's about 100 feet above the surface when the creature catches him again. And we will try the punting again. He missed again. So you go right past him. Wow. Same thing. So he swoops, clearly can't see very well, and you go past him and you hit that water like it's bad.
Is this thing within 50 feet of us now?
You know what? If I roll a 1, 2, or 3, it passes. No, it's probably about 100 feet out. Okay. Way just enough. But you guys see the gnome he's trying to do something with a ring. Hits the ground, and Mr. Bankers, you hit that water real hard.
I got the ring off, so I can sink.
So passes Mr. Bankers.
Did the game description say feather fall?
You take an astronomical. I don't know what it is. It's a ridiculous amount of damage. It's a D. It might be like a D6 for the first 10, and then 2D6, then 46, then 8. So it's like, I don't know, 150 D6 points of damage or some crazy shit. I don't know what it would be. But you hit the ground and are instantly killed as you splash into the water. Creature goes up, banks back around, and you hear it actually screech, and it almost sounds like a screech of frustration as it starts rising up again, picking up a current. All right, so you guys in the cave, you've passed into the cave. It's maybe 100 feet deep, 60 feet wide, something like that. And there's just carcasses all over it. Most of it animal carcasses, antelope, a couple of deer here and there. You see a dead bear, half eaten, half digested. There's some kind of, it looks like these creatures are eating things and then vomiting it back up. And in the midst of this, you actually see a few humanoid bodies with, rusted armor and whatnot. But it's possible if you guys begun sifting through this mess that there's something there of value.
I'm going to bring up the question of babies in the small cave. And that if they're puking them back up, they're probably feeding their young. So
yeah, was kind of my word as well.
So yeah.
What do you do? Start investigating closer, move out into the room?
Yeah, I think we're gonna. Well, at least Cormac's gonna make the suggestion that they make sure that they're definitely alone in this cave complex before we start searching stuff.
Well, when the small one up above, was the small cave above the big
Yes.
cave?
Yeah. And even when you went past it, it was maybe 18 inches tall, maybe a foot and a half wide. You could get in it, probably splunking, but
I'm just thinking if it connects in. I'm just thinking if it connects in. So I'm going to look up to make sure I look up to see if there's.
You don't see it connecting here. No.
All right.
So everybody, give me a spot check to see if you see any living creatures in here. Mr. Binkers, you see the golden hand of Tefnut come up and pull you down and into the waters to take you off to to the stone fields for your noble death.
He died the way he lived, gloriously.
Gloriously, airborne and fighting it all. So the four of you guys below, the torchlight kind of vanishes. You don't see it anymore. You do see the gnome hit the water with a horrific splat. He's flattened somewhat. His bones are broken. Water flushes into him, and he's sucked off and down the current. You see the creature follow his body for just maybe a melee round, and then screech in frustration, as I said, and it picks up an updraft and starts coming up the cliff. At this point, it's probably 200 feet down the chasm as he's coming up and back around. What are we doing?
Maybe it's time to head for the caves.
All right, going down the rope.
As long as that rope's still tied to something, sure.
Okay. All right, you grab the rope, start skinning down. Rhino, what are you doing?
That thing is coming back, right?
Yep.
Okay, and
It's gonna be easier.
I'm
to
not a
do.
very good climber. I'm worried. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna think about it.
Okay. Okay. Steven, what are you doing? Steven Chalmers, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm not in any hurry to go down to the cave. So, well, I'm not going to go down to the cave. I'm going to wait for it to come back and try to get off another shot at it.
All right. Are you going to get near Rhino, or are you going to move away from him, or what are you doing?
I get near him.
I'll
if he
keep my
doesn't.
distance.
Okay. Yeah. You know, got to go for somebody. Scott, what are you doing?
I'll stand between those two and just get ready to pop another shot. Yeah.
All right. So y'all brace for it. It starts banking, coming back around. It's going to take a couple of melee rounds. Now, Forsworn, you don't have any particular natural climb abilities. And what kind of armor do you have on?
Queer bully.
Okay. All right. So you're pretty good, pretty maneuverable. I assume you're not carrying any backpacks as you go down this rope. But you're only going to be able to move about.
Not anymore, no.
Okay. You're only going to be able to move about 20 to 30 feet around tops if you're moving fast. If you want to take it a little bit more cautiously, you can go a little bit more cautiously. So is it quick or cautious?
Nah, we can go quick.
Okay. All right. All right. So you sling yourself around. Give me a dex check. Rope's wet. Everything's wet. Side of the wall is wet. Just don't roll poorly. You rolled poorly, didn't you?
I rolled a 10.
Well, that's not too bad. So what's add your level to it and your dexterity bonus?
Yeah, that's a 10.
All right, so you get on that rope and you just start sliding almost immediately. The rope pulls, something jerks, one of your hand goes free. You're still kind of holding on to it with one hand and just kind of dangling there. But at this point, you're just sliding down the rope. It dries quickly, obviously, with the friction between your hand, the flesh, and the rope itself. So it's burning your hand pretty good. So next round, you get another dex check to see if you can hold on. And you don't want to fail that one. It's going to be critical that you survive, that you make that dex check. All right. So inside the cave, Brett, what did you get on your wisdom check, your spot check?
That was 14 non-prime.
All right. Barbarian, what'd you get?
Do we add our level to that one?
Yes. Add your level and whatever bonus you may have.
Yeah, then I got a 20 and it's not prime.
Okay. Cormac, what'd you get?
Got a 24 prime.
Okay. Both you guys, Barbarian and Thief, you guys are looking around and you're a quick scan with the torchlight spilling about. Not only do you not see anything moving, you don't see any extra, like smaller footprints in the muck or any of that. It doesn't look like there's going to be anything else living in here other than probably some, roaches or cave crickets or some kind of vermin like that.
Well, my ranger says, I wonder what's going on outside.
Yeah, I said perhaps we should see what they're doing, and maybe they need help with the climbing that's so natural to us.
I'm starting to root around that stuff. I want to see if there's anything here.
You're gonna poke through the dropping.
So Cormac, you start looking. Brett, you and the Barbarian, you guys go back to the cave entrance to see what's happening outside. Is that the?
Yeah.
To watch the Forsworn fall to his death. Hopefully,
oh my!
They
should have learned to climb.
Yeah. All right, Cormac, I want you to give me an intelligence check.
Okay. What is the mechanic for that?
So you're going to roll the d20, add your level to it, and your attribute bonus, and if it's a prime, add 6 to that.
All right. So that is a total of 24 again.
Okay. Just kind of looking over.
Prime.
You're a relatively skilled treasure hunter, and looking over this thing, you can tell that creatures that have been killed, humanoids, whatever, demi-humans, humans that have been killed by this thing, these creatures have only been partially eaten and mostly messed with. So it occurs to you that whatever treasure that someone may have had when it was captured was carried in here. The guy was half devoured and then dropped. So there's a good chance that his whatever wealth he may have had, he or she may have had, is just laying in the kind of pool of their ruined carcass. So if you're inclined, you can go start poking around the dead bodies to see if there's anything of value there.
I'm so inclined.
All right,
Maybe
so
they
you move on into the
their
thing.
magic rings.
Exactly. You move in as your comrades move out. So on the outside, The creature it initially starts to bank up just as before, as you guys are bracing with your bows and whatnot on the top, but clearly it sees something below and it starts to bank down again, going through the exact same maneuver that we went through a moment ago with the gnome. But this one's going to be a little more interesting. So we're going to start with you, Forsworn, to see how this goes. Give me a dex check.
Okay, that one's good. So we got a natural 20 on that anyway. So, and that's a primary.
Okay, so you just grab that rope. It just burns your flesh somewhat, but you take the pain up. You take 2 points of damage from rope burn on that. Bounce off the wall somewhat, but where the rope is dangling below, you catch on a small crag, get your foot kind of jammed into it. It slings you around, slams you into the rock face. And as you come out, you notice two things kind of simultaneously. The barbarian sticks his head out of the corner, out of the cave entrance, and the ranger's right next to him. And then you see that creature. It banks to the left a little bit, clearly targeting in your direction, coming just as he did for the gnome a moment ago. But in the meanwhile, I assume we're going to volley weapons at this creature. Is that right, Stephen Scott? And is the spiritual weapon still with us?
No, it expired. But
you've got to jump on its back, Rhino. You just have to jump. You got to follow the gnome's heroic.
I think I think I shouldn't. I saw what happened. So, very good lesson. He didn't die for nothing.
In vain. Yes.
He taught me a valuable lesson.
Mr. Bankers.
He taught me to not jump at the creature. So what I'm going to do, when it's within 50 feet, I'm going to, as soon as I gauge that, I'm going to cast Sound Burst.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. So, so go ahead, Steve, go ahead and take your crossbow shot, and Scott, take your bow shot.
A 16 to hit.
That's a miss.
16 misses. 16 to hit. 16 misses. Whoever got that.
And then I missed mine as well.
Okay. All right, and the sound burst. I don't get anything for that, do I?
No, sound burst. You take a D8 of damage, and you need to make a successful Wisdom savings throw, or you are stunned for a round.
Okay, is there a hit dice limit on that saving throw?
No, there isn't.
Okay. So give me some damage on that as this thunderclap of sound strikes the creature. It flies through it. Hopefully this disengages it.
It should have did this earlier, maybe before the gnome jumped.
Is it going to get stunned before it turns out of its dive?
5.
Okay, that thunder claps right next to it, and your level is 5. Is that correct?
I am 5th level, correct.
It doesn't seem to. It affects the creature, but it doesn't stun it. It continues to go forward. It doesn't seem to be held up by your blow as it swoops in. Now, clearly going for the Forsworn. It dips beneath the bridge. Barbarian and Ranger, you guys are kind of standing there in the cave entrance. You can hear the rogue behind you, kind of rooting around, and the creature banking to the side so that its underbelly, much as before, is right exposed to you. You can attempt to swing at a -4, or you can leap on it if you're inclined.
I'll leap on it.
Yeah.
The barbarian will leap on it with his bearded axe, right. Trying to hook into
Matthew McConaughey is swing at this thing. Right. All right.
Gotcha. It's either that or throw a little hand axe at it, which is not going to happen.
We'll call it the Binker maneuver.
The Binker.
Can I have learned from the Binker maneuver and have a bonus?
You know what? I'll give you a +1 on your swing if you leap out. Actually, the Forsworn, is that on combat as well? Forsworn, is it just attribute checks?
It just says attribute check.
Okay, all right. All right, so you're doing what we call now the Binker maneuver.
Binker maneuver. Well, and I have
axe to swing.
Okay, because I have primeval instincts that are +4 if it's an attribute check too. But that's
all right. What I want you to do first is take your swing to hit. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Because that's what you're trying to do, right? You're going to swing and.
Yeah, that's only a 13.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a dexterity save.
It's a prime, right? So a 2. So if I roll 2 and add, let's see, that's 2, that's 4. I get to add 6 for prime to get up to what, 10?
So everything just goes awry. You swing.
Oh, but I didn't add my I didn't add my level, right? So we're at 6, 3, that's 9, and then the one 10 plus 2, that's 12. That's
all right, well there you go.
12
You
prime.
leap out, you slam into the creature. Axe kind of bounces off. So you have two choices. You can drop the axe and it's gone in the drink below, and try to grab and hold on to one of these creatures. You're kind of sliding off the creature, trying to hold on to it, or you can just go with your axe and try to dive into the water below.
How high am I?
200
This
feet.
is my +1 axe.
How much do you value it?
I let go of the axe.
Okay.
Hopefully flinging it to an edge, so hopefully it'll eddy out at the corner.
So the axe tumbles down and flies off and into the drink, and you're bouncing off the side of the creature. All right, so Forsworn, you're watching all this go on. You see the barbarian just leap off, and he's it's like bouncing off of the creature's underbelly. He's just kind of rolling off of it and backwards, and he's just trying to grab something. The creature's coming in at you. Are you going to do anything? Leap at it, or
have my feet found solid ground at all, or am I kind of dangling from this rope?
So your right hand is on the rope, and your left foot and right knee are kind of jammed into the rocks. So you can thrust yourself out into the creature if you're inclined.
Okay, so what I'll do then, I will keep my right hand on that rope, and with my shield in my left hand, I will kind of thrust myself out, shield bash this thing, but still hang on to that rope.
Okay. All right, so that'll be next round. We'll do that. So, Cormac, you start poking around into this mess, and you actually find what's clearly a dead dwarf there. He's got a backpack that's half chewed up, but when you pull it out, you can see this small iron box, down in the dwarf's, in the muck that was this dwarf at one point.
All right. Tuck iron box under arm and keep looking.
Okay. You hear quite a bit of ruckus coming from outside. You just keep exploring anyways. Was that a yes? I'm assuming
yes.
Yeah.
But inside the box is the magic thing that stops this whole thing.
I'll figure out in just a minute. Give me a minute here.
Let me get in this thing.
Oh, I'll just hold on here. That's right.
So up above, the three of you guys you've got your weapon, your bow's out, and I guess you did sound burst. Creature kind of vanishes from sight. You hear quite a bit of ruckus from below. Can't quite tell what's going on. Are you taking any actions, any spells, anything? I mean, there's not a lot you can do, but Steven, anything?
Yeah, I mean, if I can't get a shot, that's pretty much all I could do.
Okay. The best you could do is kind of move to the edge to get a better clearance from where you are. Kind of, as a creature flies, the cliff is here and you're kind of standing here. As the creature flies in this direction, you could move in that direction and maybe see it below next round, or you can hold where you are. But that's about as much as you can do.
Try and leap.
Yeah, I mean, I'll move into a position for a better shot next round.
Okay. Or you can just run off the cliff and try to leap onto it.
Jump on it, right? That's easy.
There's always the Binker maneuver.
There's always the Binker maneuver. All right, Scott, are you anything?
I just, the crazy part of me says, yeah, it's a Friday night. Let's try the Binker maneuver.
This creature's not going to know who to eat. There's just falling meat all over the place.
I've got some
falling meat. I love it.
Make a wisdom check. It's going to be confused out of the sky.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Scott, are you doing the Binker maneuver?
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to put this in the CKG. Dude, I'm putting the Binker maneuver in the CKG.
Hey, Steve, I want to interject just a second. The rate this is going, there's only going to be a couple of you left, and we still got an hour, so y'all better be ready to do some damn role playing, is all I can tell you.
Oh, what do you think we're doing?
Bad.
We're weighing this thing down.
Yeah.
Sure we are.
Classic role play.
That's right. So, Scott, you're just going to try to guess where it is and run and jump, or are you going to wait till you...
I should have a good idea, but I suppose I could look over the edge or whatever. If I have to wait for the next round, that's fine. I can do that too.
Okay, well, so I'm going to let you... I mean, you see it swoop in. It dips beneath out of sight for a second, but you know very roughly its speed. So you can kind of maybe track it. So if you want to run and jump, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's run and jump.
You just run and leap off, weapons in hand. All right. So what we're going to do here, you roll an 18, 19, or 20. You leap to where you have a chance of striking that creature.
Oh, those odds aren't good.
No, not very good at all.
Well, let's see.
I don't
You
have a
got
grabbing tail.
20. Oh,
Never tell me the odds.
yeah. All right. It's a 20.
All right, excellent. All right, so you leap off. What do you got in hand? It's not.
I got it. Well, I guess I have my longbow, but I suppose I would have had time to pull out an axe, or I don't know.
So we're
That's up to
still
you.
through your longbow, running, pulling your axe, and you're leaping over the side of the cliff, plummeting down. So the next melee round, as I'm coming into the Forsworn, we'll see if you can actually slam into the side of the creature, and if the barbarian can hold on to it. So Brett, you're the only one who hasn't done anything. You're watching. You don't know what's coming from above, but you can see the Forsworn in front of you. Barbarian bouncing off the guy. What is it you're doing?
Well, I see there's a bearded axe on the ground. There's a hammer on the ground. A gnome's made a small crater. There's a ring. I look up and I say, what are they doing?
Just falling all over the place.
So are they, what can I do? How far away is the creature? Can I use my longbow on it?
At next round, you can pull an arrow out and shoot it at next round, definitely. Or you can attempt to leap onto the creature from the mouth of the cave. That's what you're going to do. It seems to be the thing to do.
We can weigh it
Everybody's
down.
doing it.
Yeah, you can slowly push it to the ground so no one takes fall damage. There you go.
Well, it's actually staying towards the top of the bridge, right?
No, so if you picture so if this is the bridge, let's see if I can do this on camera. If this is the bridge here, right, and the cliff faces like this, all right? Everybody's up here that's not leaping off the cliff, left, right, and center, and you're about here, and the creature's flying in this direction underneath the bridge. Barbarian's bouncing off of his side. Forsworn's going to try to leap in from him, and you can't see the fighter.
Okay, so I really have to use a ranged weapon then on it.
Okay, so you're going to whip bow back out and get an arrow out to shoot it as it flies away. So,
well, I'm assuming my polearm won't work. It's not close enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only thing you can do this round is to leap at the creature if that's what you want to do.
But the polearm will stick really well, and you can hold on to it when you leap off.
He had put the polearm up when he pulled his blade out. So right now he's got, I can't remember. I think he had a broadsword in hand or something.
I have the long sword. So, but if I can just drop that and grab a polearm and maybe try and latch it or slow it down, I could try that.
No, we'll give you a chance. So you just throw your sword aside, grabbing the polearm, and just let people know. This is one of the things I do as a GM. If you take rapid actions like that without, like if he was just say, I sheathe my blade, well, then that's what you're doing. But if you just throw that thing aside and grab something off the wall, then I'll give you a little bit of extra, leeway in things that you're doing. It just keeps everything kind of flying. But so that ends that round. So you get to the next round. You're in a bad spot, Barbarian. You and the fighter plummeting from above in a pretty rough spot. So next round, creature swoops. It's coming right. It sees you, Forsworn, as you kind of launch yourself out, and it just opens its mouth to take you in its loving embrace as you attempt to do that. So what we're going to do, let's do an initiative. What do we got? So the fighter's plummeting. Barbarian, we're going to get to you in a second. Let's do an initiative for Brett. With the polearm and Forsworn with the biting.
I have a 7.
All right, so
I got a 2.
Okay, swing with your polearm. You launch out. Creature's going to bite into you.
15.
It goes just past you. You swing with the polearm, and now it's out of range. Slams into the. What's your armor class, Forsworn?
It's a 17.
It bites you. It opens its mouth, clamps right down on top of you. You take 7 points of damage, and it just bites hard into you and keeps going forward with its full momentum. Now, instantly, I just think really the only person who sees this clearly is the fighter as you're plummeting down. Sort of like a fish, as it's bit the bait, it's holding onto the rope. The rope goes tight. So the creature's actually going to be tied to the cliff above with your grappling hook. Does that make sense? I mean,
sure.
You tied off your grappling hook, and so long as the Forsworn holds onto the rope and stays in the mouth, it'll at least slow the creature a little bit. So,
as this has happened, I intend to not just hold on with my hand, but wrap my hand around it. A little extra focus on that rope.
You're going fishing. You realize that you're the bait on the hook.
Got to lead him a little bit now. Got to lead him a little bit. You don't want to lose him.
You don't want to yank the bait out of his mouth.
All right, so Scott, I want a dex check from you to see how this plays out for the
All
final.
right, well, good for me. Dex is prime, so that's
Really?
a 14, 15, 21.
All right, you come flying down into the side of that creature. I think you had an axe in hand, right?
Yep.
So you have two choices. You can swing your axe as you're going down, and this will be next round because you're hitting the creature. You can swing your axe. Actually, it's going to be this round. You can swing your axe, or you can try to grab the creature to hold on. What do you got?
I think I
Left
have,
hand free, axe in the right.
I have pretty good hand strength. I'll just hold on to the damn thing.
Okay, so what I want another dex check on that now. I'm going to give you a bonus if you drop your axe and use both of your hands to hold on. But if you
that's a good idea.
all right, axe off into the grave, grab a hold of the grave.
Not even a question.
Yeah.
All right, so
that or
I got
that.
an idea. Let's go to the forest.
Yeah. So let's see, 15, prime, 16, 21, 22 on that one.
All right, so you grab a hold of one of these tentacles. All right, so we're going to get to Cormac and Stephen and Rhino in a second. We got to wrap up the barbarian here to see how he's going. The tentacles actually are kind of flying behind the creature as it folds them up. It's not trying to strike you, so you're just kind of rolling off of the backside of this creature, the underside of this creature. Give me a dexterity check to see if you grab a hold of something.
Okay, that's a prime, so I had 6, right?
Yeah. Add your level and
12 plus 6 is 18. 3 more
Oh,
is
yeah.
21, and 1 more is 22.
all right, you grab a hold of one of these tentacles, kind of go wild as you're kind of being, just beat to death a little bit with the wind as he's going forward. But now we've got, so I just need a quick check. Forsworn, roughly how much does your character weigh?
He's very svelte.
He weighs 160 pounds on the nose.
No,
All right.
310.
Barbarian, how much do you weigh?
I actually wrote down 193.
All right, so we're close to 400 pounds. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm 230, so that's
Good God. So we're close to what? Almost 600, 500, 600 pounds. It's clinging to and holding on to or in this creature's mouth one way or the other. All right. So, Stephen, you had actually run forward last round, crossbow in hand, and you can see this just chaos as the creature he's banked this way and he begins to try to go up. He's got the Forsworn guy in his mouth, ropes going tight. He's got the barbarian clinging to his tail and the fighter holding on to half the wing and sliding off of the wing. You can take a shot or hold your action.
At this point, I'm concerned if I kill it, they all go plummeting down into the gorge.
That's
but
a
I
pretty
think I'll go
legit.
ahead and take a shot. And how close to death does this thing look? Does it look like?
It's been hit a lot. I mean, it's got quite a few, 3 or 4 arrows and a couple of bolts stuck in it, and it's got a little bit of smoke coming off of its head from the sound burst, and it's been banged up a little bit.
Can't stay up with 3 barrels on it.
Yeah,
Not with 3 barrels, you can't.
It's like a Jaws.
I'm gonna go ahead and shoot it.
All right,
try
fire
to
away.
shoot it. 16 to hit. I don't think that hits.
No, it does not. All right, that bounces off the back. It kind of floats off in the distance. Rhino, anything?
Wow. I've never seen this before, so I'm just gonna get closer.
Anyone's ever seen this before?
I'm gonna get closer and just watch and pray for my friends.
You're gonna whip
All
out
right.
a pad and take some notes.
Brought a
Right.
bard.
Isn't this how the World War I aces developed all of these combat maneuvers by watching this craziness in the air? So
Looks like Rhino will be performing the last part of the show. He'll be around.
right. All right. So beginning this round, Cormac, you're in there. You still the noise is actually receding somewhat. Still keep looking.
Oh yeah, they're obviously taking care of things out there, so I can, do my job in here.
So you're good to go. All right, you find what looks to be a masterwork dagger, kind of stuck, just sticking, laying in all of this filth. around it, and what looks like might be a decent set of chainmail if you take the time to kind of strip it from this, what was probably an elf's body at some point.
Yeah, we'll get that and the masterwork dagger. You know, the masterwork dagger can get tucked into the belt, and I'll see if I can work that chainmail off. All
right, start pulling the chainmail off. All right, Brett, up above, no sound coming from in the encampment, the cave behind you, but clearly you see three of your comrades flying off into the ether or something. What are you doing?
Well, I suppose if I fire my arrow, how many are on that creature now?
2 are on it. 1 is in it, and it's it's trying to bank up. Now you've got your polearm in hand. Best you can do to do something this round is to hurl your polearm at it.
I could, but there's a good chance I could probably hit one of my comrades since there's more people on it than there is monster.
Look, those guys have had such luck. There's no way you could hit one.
No way. Mm-mm.
No way.
It'll never happen.
What? You know what? I'll try it. Why not?
Clearly, your polearm's not made to be a missile weapon, so you hurl it. It goes off and into the. How'd you do?
I rolled a 17.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And
a little bit of. You roll a 17.
I get +4 normally. I get +4.
Okay, so give me it nicks the creature. Give me a D4 points of damage as you slice through the creature in some kind of miraculous shot.
4 points of damage.
All right. Okay, so Stephen, you and Reiner are up above watching it. Mr. Binkers, you're still floating down the river a little bit, waiting for someone to come rescue you. And the other 3 of you guys are clinging to this thing. So there's not much actions that you can take. I mean, you can try to pull a dagger out and start stabbing if you want. And if you want to do that, let me know. But that's going to make it that much more difficult to hold on to the creature, except in your case, Forsworn, because you're in its mouth. Now your shield arm is pinned up in its mouth, but your right hand is, you're still clinging to the rope. That's right. You wrap your hand around the rope. So the creature just continues to fly. Obviously, it had full momentum with it. Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do, that rope goes taut immediately. The first thing that happens is we'll see how good Scott had that grapple hook stuck into the rocks. So, Scott, I want you to make a strength check. Add 1 to it and nothing else. Just roll a D20 and add 1.
D20 plus 1 is an 8.
All right, that rope, that grapple hook, the rope snaps right out of it. Grapple hook falls on the ground, and the rope goes, and all 3 of you go with it. And it continues to grind down on you, Forsworn. So you've got the rope in hand. So next round you can take an action as it's just kind of chawing on you, trying to rip you up. Not much damage. Your shield is clearly blocked. Most of it's gnawing. It's rending your shield. One of the straps breaks off of it. Take 3 points of damage from that. All right, so you don't have to make a dexterity check, but I assume you drop the rope at that point. Or are you holding on to it?
Oh, no. I'm going to let go of that rope.
No. Does it fly around so we can garrot the thing? If it's flying around, you just loop yourself over him.
All right, you all can tell.
But yes.
The Forsworn's having the most trouble telling this. Is the creature's bank's kind of leveling itself out. There's so much weight on this creature. It is not doing what it was doing a moment ago, with the gnome. It's trying to catch an updraft. It's just too heavy, and it begins to go down. But both of you are still clinging onto it. So you're going to have to make another dex check. Actually, we're going to do a strength check on this to see if you actually hold on to the creature.
Strength check.
That's not prime.
Well, that's not good.
21 prime.
All right, you're holding on to the underside of that wing and part of its leg.
Let's see. 3 plus 3. Do we get the forlorn thing? Oh, wait, though. That's a physical attribute check, right?
Oh.
Well, if strength is a prime for you, is it?
Primeval instincts, +4 to physical attribute checks.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a physical attribute. Absolutely.
So that's a +4, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10. And 16, that's 11, 12.
And did you add your 1 from the Forsworn?
No, 13.
All right, there you go. You still didn't make enough to hold on to it. So as you're holding onto the creature, its tails it folds up, and its 4 tails, tentacles, whatever they are, seem to become one. It's almost illusionary. It's not quite. And as you're just trying to grab a hold of this stuff, you're just let you go, and you missed, and you're out and into the ether and flying. So unless you've got a ring of feather fall, the next round is going to be really hard.
Well, where's that rope?
rope.
It's not tied to anything anymore.
Is it falling? I got like a second.
All right, so we'll get to you in a minute. Just study your character to see if you got anything that you can do. Or Rhino, you haven't acted. Can you see the barbarian go free and into the air? He's about 100 and what did I say? 50 feet, about 150 feet above the water.
Okay.
We had him.
Do I know? I can guess roughly where he's going to land.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to go. I don't want to climb down anything. That's just not worked out well for anybody.
He's got about 2 meters. He's going to
You
fall.
can
How
try
fast
dropping.
you fall?
It's quicker.
You fall 90
I'm-
feet a second. Is that how fast? I can't remember. I've been,
9.8 meters per second.
what is it? What is it?
9.8 meters per second.
So that's what about 25? What is 9 times 4? I don't know what that is. What is that? 36.
I have a hard enough
I think
time
it's
adding sticks.
exponential. I think it's
Yeah, it's
exponential
weird.
until you reach critical mass as well. So you continually speed up.
I
Oh,
basically
okay.
square my speed, I think, as I go or something.
So it's going to be bad. You got anything?
I don't got enough. I don't have anything. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna get across the bridge and go to the other side. This is not working out.
Gonna go fill up your canteen.
I think that's probably what should be done. That's the most useful thing that could be done tonight.
Isn't that what
I
you were
guess-
starting to do at the very start?
Cormac completely disagrees.
Yeah, Cormac's down there just getting all kinds of treasure.
I know.
I have
All
a
right,
large
so-
empty sack. Can I try to get that out on the way down?
Turn it into a parachute.
Parachute.
The Wile E. Coyote parasol of falling.
Right.
A large empty sack. Well, why
You know-
else would I have a large empty sack?
You can try anything. You can hope for anything. All right, so that ends that melee round. Brett, you're now weaponless. You see the barbarian go clear last round, and he starts to plummet. You got anything? You got a magic rope? Anything? Anything?
Nope, I do not.
Okay.
Favors owed by the gods.
Barbarian, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna take all my shit, all my stuff, and throw it down right in front of me to break the water, so I get at least it's not so hard when I hit it.
All right, you should start stripping off your backpack, hoping
No.
Dane.
I'm gonna throw it straight underneath me, straight under. So it's like,
Remember when I was in jump school, when you hit
Hopefully-
the ground.
Oh,
well,
my-
hopefully
One of the-
grabbing the large sack as well on the way out is like.
One of the funniest things about jump school is how many backpacks, helmets, and just equipment are falling and landing all over the place as people just flies off of them. So that's sort of what's happening to you as you plummet down. All right, so
There's
all
Steve.
right, Brett,
there's-
are you do what? Chuck, was that
never
you?
mind. Nothing.
Brett, are you doing anything? You're just kind of watching the barbarians said and or
What is
glorious end. It's a glorious end.
Where's
Sorry.
the bard?
There's all this equipment in the water. I suppose I should retrieve it. At least get some loot from this adventure.
Well, it's all sinking, so it's not gonna.
I'll,
But it
I'll,
goes to the river, or it goes to the town they're going to, right?
I'll retrieve my equipment that I had thrown around. I'll retrieve my weapons.
Put that in your gear together.
Yeah.
Cormac, you're continuing to search inside. You think I guess you're getting that chainmail off. So you're pulling that chainmail off this round. All right. So Forsworn, you're in its mouth. Scott, you're on its back. Steven, you can take another shot. You probably got one more. It's moving so slow. It's it's a little less weighed down, but you can take one more shot if you want.
Well, there's something I can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to you and Scott in just a second. So let's see what's
I've got a 23 to hit this time.
23. Yeah, you got it.
Nice.
6 points of damage.
Oh, very
Alright.
nice.
It wings it good.
God.
Rhino, Rhino, anything?
I'm walking across the bridge.
That's right. It's exit stage left for you.
Yeah, I'm back on the trail.
All right. Okay, Scott and Forsworn, you're in the air. Creature loses some of its weight. Still too weighed down to go up immediately, but it's clearly struggling with doing that. So both of you give me an initiative. Scott, do you have a plan here? I'm just curious. You just
Dude, I have I rolled a 10 on initiative. I'm
Alright.
gonna go full hiccup on this thing.
Okay. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
They know. It's from How to Train Your Dragon. He was the one who got on the Toothless.
Oh, that's right. What did he do?
I'm gonna make this thing my bitch.
Okay, you're gonna try to climb up onto its back. Is that?
I would love to.
Though.
Okay.
I would love to.
All right, give me a dex check as you start climbing up the creature's side.
All right, here we go. Oh boy, that's bad.
I know that feeling.
Goodbye, cruel world.
I had the same hope when I rolled mine.
Let's do a dag thing here. It's a 4 plus a 6 plus a 3 plus a 1. That's like was that a 12 or a 13?
Yeah. All right. So you let go of the wing, part of the wing that you're holding onto. You grab a hold of what you think is a scale. It's not a scale. You just start sliding, and then you just grasping anywhere you can, slip off, and it just keep. At that point, as soon as your 220 pounds breaks free, it actually goes up. It starts to going up at a certain point. But as you break free and fall, Forsworn, what are you doing?
So in all this desperation, I have reached and grabbed the whistle around my neck, stuck it in my mouth, leaned as close as I can to what I think is the ear of this thing, and blow as hard as I can.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So you just start. What?
It's emergency whistle. Your emergency whistle.
Well,
You just-
it is an emergency.
Blowing like crazy. It doesn't seem to have much of effect. It continues to fly, picking up a little bit of the updraft as Scott plummets off and into the ether, flying, parachuteless down. You do see the rope, Scott, as it's flying off to your left, as it's falling as well. Okay, so all right, Brett, you got all your gear back together, and Cormac, you've got the chainmail off of it, and you're relatively certain that's probably all that's in here. You can do a little bit more searching if you want, but the rest.
I think that's probably good enough, and I probably need to get out of here before that thing either comes back or my companions get too mad at me.
There won't be anyone left to get mad at you.
Does some of the stuff from my backpack fly up at least till the next time I get it?
Just throwing crap everywhere. Yeah, so Barbarian, you're plummeting there. You're taking your backpack off, trying to get stuff off. In a round or so, you hit the surface of the water with quite a heavy splat, joining the Binker maneuver.
Surprisingly, it had the same effect. The Binker maneuver.
Scott was doing a little better. All right, Scott, you're flying to the ether. All right, Stephen, you see the last of your comrades being borne off and another one falling below. You hear the barbarian hit the ground. It's this echoing splat coming from above. And Rhino's like, I'm out. You see him walking across the bridge.
Two different kinds. I got one orange.
I want to come out of a cave with a sign that says 7.1 for the barbarian landing.
What the Eastern Bloc give me?
Do what?
I'm gonna go to Walmart.
I said, what the Eastern Bloc give me? If he only gave me a 7.1.
9.8 from the Eastern Bloc, judges.
Okay.
There you go.
It's well out of range by this point.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, you can take a shot, but you're going to have a -6 at this point.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't want you to have to do that, man.
Your mic's hot.
I don't think that's
Hey, Chuck, we can
really much point to that.
Chuck, mute your mic.
Yeah. Chuck just became a granddad today, so he's got other stuff going on. All right, so where are we at? So you're taking that shot, Stephen. You got at a -6. You can hurl at it.
Yeah. Might as well. Let's see.
Okay, take a shot.
It's definitely not a hit.
So.
All right, bolt goes wide. Creature starts banking up. Rhino, you're almost across the bridge. Binker, you're still floating down, though you're not alone now. The barbarian is going to join you soon. And Scott won't be far behind him as well. Brett, you see Cormac coming back out. What are you doing? You can hear Scott. Are you giving us a death-curdling scream? Or are you just falling quietly and silently?
Falling bravely. Ah!
You hear Scott's heroic charge into the stone fields.
I try to intimidate the ground before I hit it. It says there's two per encounter. So
I tell you what, if you roll a natural 20, you can cut your damage in half by forcing the water away from you. So you only
take about 800.
Right.
Yeah.
13.
No, not the water was not intimidated as you splash it, or not splash into it as you hit into it and soak into it, I suppose. Brett, you start climbing up. Or you waiting for Cormac?
No, I think this is time to go home.
The pick our bodies up downstream.
As you start to climb out, the Forsworn being carried off and up. All right, I guess there's nothing. You got a bow, maybe?
I have a long bow, but is it within range of the longbow?
You'll get at least a -6 on it.
You know what? I'll try. I rolled a 5. I missed.
They're trying. They're trying, man. They're trying.
Why?
That's all I can ask.
All right, so next melee round, Brett, you start to climb up. I assume Cormac, you're coming out and starting to climb up as well. Scott, you got anything in your bag of tricks to keep you from hitting that ground?
Go.
Okay. All right, you just plummet down. Next round, you'll splat into it and take a horrific amount of damage. All right, Forsworn, the creature's going up. It's now got a nice updraft. It doesn't have enough weight to hold it down. You got one hand free. What are you doing?
With a free hand, I'm going to grab my dagger, and I'm going to try to stick my hand inside its mouth and start jabbing.
All right, swing away. Dagger comes out, heroically trying to end this beast's life, this poor creature's life.
I got a 20, modified 20.
Oh, wow.
You stick it right in that kind of membrane between its lower and upper jaw, splitting that open and drive the blade into its tongue. You guys are getting there.
You want the damage points?
Yeah, how much damage did you do?
5.
How much?
5.
5. All right, you stick it good. Creature actually opens its mouth, not quite letting you go, but it does open its mouth in pain. It's kind of almost this kind of instinctive reaction, but it now is like it was doing with the gnome. It's banking up and into the air. Though it's moving actually a bit slower than it was when this whole fracas began. It's got arrows stuck into it, wounds from the thrown polearm and your dagger stab and all kinds of mess that's going on with this poor beast. All right, so he's trying to bank up. Stephen, you're standing there now actually alone for a moment. Rhino's almost across the bridge. Your friends are splatting in the water below, and one's being borne off into the wild blue yonder.
Can I still see the creature?
Yeah, he's now, much like the gnome, he's now trying to bank into this almost, straight up. He's clearly getting some altitude for himself, but he's moving slow. It's got,
someone has to witness this, so since I'm the only one standing there, I'm just gonna watch to see what happens. I can, I don't know, tell the next of kin or whatever, and
see how this
wait
ends.
For the others to come back up from the cave.
All right, you actually can hear them coming up. You can hear some kind of ruckus even as you hear something, a third body hit the water with quite a splat. Scott, that's you. You take a horrific amount of damage joining your two comrades as they are soaked off into the sea. All right, so Rhino, you get onto the other side of the bridge. You're in the tree line. Do you stop there or?
Yeah, I was going to get to the other side and wait for anybody who survives.
Okay. You turn around, you can see two of them coming up, and the dwarf standing there. Look, yeah, there's actually a few survivors. All right, so Forsworn, you're going up. You're good this next round. He gets up maybe 300 or 400 feet, much like the gnome, and he doesn't have any of his tentacles as he did the gnome, but he just opens his mouth and lets you go. And so what do you do?
Scream.
So if that's the case, with one last ditch effort while my hand was still in there, I was going to try to jab and maintain hold of this thing and hold its neck.
All right, swing. Let's do it. Roll good. He didn't roll good.
That's a curse when you say that.
I know.
That's a 7.
I need to quit saying that. What did you get?
A 7.
All right, as he lets you go, your shield arm gets hung up in a little bit. You pivot back around, swinging, just trying to jab at the creature, and he lets you go, and you just kind of go out and into the open as the creature continues to go up. But we're going to give you one more next round because he's going up, and you're just dropped. He doesn't spit you, so you're kind of bouncing off of the creature's flank. So we'll give you one more swing as he goes up, but that'll be next round, which is now because I guess no one has anything they can do to help the Forsworn. I assume that it's really one more swing if you can hold on or not. The rest of you guys are watching. So next round, take your swing.
It's a nice view. For a second, it's a really nice view. It looks like the.
Yeah. How'd you do?
16.
No. All right. So you hit the creature. Dagger bends back somewhat, folds on your hand, and it actually twists your pinky out of socket almost. It's so much pain, but you can't get into it, and now you're just free falling over the lake below, the glacier lake. Your one hope is the creature catches you as he comes back around as he attempts to. All right, so you're just falling.
While I'm waiting for him to do that, hopefully do that, I'm going to try to position myself behind my shield and ride behind the shield down.
You get Indiana Jones it.
To drive the shield into your body.
Okay. All right, so you grab your shield, trying to hold on. Creature goes up. You guys are all clearly watching it. It goes up maybe another 100 feet. And much like, in those World War II movies where you see the plane, what are they doing? They're trying to stall out their enemy or something. It goes up, drops, falls, pivots, and it starts just thundering down at you as you're plummeting down. You go a good 200 feet down before it catches you, and it tries to do what it did to the gnome. It comes under and headbutts you, trying to knock you back up and into the air. Now, this actually brings it, Brett, you're back up on the top. While all this is going on, you guys crossing the bridge. You see the dwarf is just standing there watching unfold. He just wants to see how it ends. Are you guys start heading across the bridge? Or are you holding on with
heading across the bridge?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, dwarf, you see your comrades get up and they start heading over. You're just going to watch this. So he's going to swing at you, Forsworn. What's your armor class? What's your AC?
It's a 17.
All right. You're throwing your shield up, trying to stop the blow. He misses. He comes up. He tries to, and this isn't good news really for you. He tries to swing. You pass his head, and you just continue to fall.
Well, that was a 17 AC with the shield.
I was going to say it is.
Do what?
Apparently, I don't think I can use the shield as part of my AC bonus right now.
Yeah, actually, you can't use. Well, no, you couldn't use dexterity either. So your armor class is going to be just straight up your armor. So what is that?
I'm no good, man. I just blew math out of my.
What is it?
So yes, it's 11.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it's +1. All right. So as you're plumbing, he does actually do that. He slams you pretty hard with his head, sending you flying up and into the air. You take 6 points of damage from that, but it keeps you up. And you can tell as he knocks you, he's just coming up underneath you again. So go ahead and take another swing to see if you can. You have to let go of the shield though if you want to try to stick. I guess that's a no. All right. So,
that's called the falling leaf maneuver, by the way.
That's
what they call it.
To hold the shield on the wind. Hold the shield over your head. It's like a parachute.
That's right. Maybe it'll catch just enough wind. At this point, you're falling so much, you can see the water beneath you is going to. In the next round, you've got it, and the creature can't even maneuver himself around to get to you. So death is right around the corner. You do see, however, the gnome and the fighter and the barbarian welcoming you to the stone fields as they call you home. All right.
Times 7.1, 5.2.
Yeah. Well,
you said the goal we wanted to get back to the place at the end of the river. So the quicker we get into the river, if we just float back. It might have taken a day or two to float up, but we'll get there.
You went the easy route, is what you did. Is what you did. All right, so Brett, you and Cormac, you get across the bridge and you find Rhino kind of hanging into the tree line. The dwarf, I assume now that the fighter falls out, or the Forsworn falls out of sight, or you wait another round before he hits the ground. Steven, you heading out, or are you gonna wait?
moment of silence for him yet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not going
All
to
right,
wait.
next
When I see the cleric, I just walk up to him and I say, "The cave was clear."
It is now.
You know, I feel bad. I was the one who noticed the cave. Maybe I should have just kept quiet.
Well, no. That's all right. You got to say these things when you see them. So
These.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. The cave was a safe place.
Yeah. Let's
in
go.
retrospect, we need to do two things if we ever do this again: A, find smarter companions, and B, bring bigger guns.
Hey, in everyone's defense, it was just a lot of bad rolls. That sent people.
It was awful.
If Binkers didn't jump first. No.
Listen from the tragedy of Mr. Binkers.
It's cool.
It's beautiful.
Cool. You had no choice but to follow his lead.
Of course. I should have tied something off. I should have tied myself off.
Oh my gosh, I'm never going to forget that name now.
Hindsight 2020.
One of the key elements to rock climbing, I suppose. All right, so
off play.
The creature actually, you got into the tree line. You see the creature swoop low. He can't get. He clearly cannot get any of these bodies out of the water. You watch him for a round or two as he's trying to snatch whoever, and he starts banking up and coming back around. Are you all going to re-engage him or fall back into the tree line?
He's coming back for more.
He's banking up and around. You can't quite, but he has nothing to eat at the moment, so you can't. At this point, you can't tell if he's coming at you or not. But he's definitely banking back around.
Let's get this thing. It killed. Well, I don't know who killed who, but
yeah, I got my little hand crossbow as a missile weapon. Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably not going to do it.
Not going to do it. I mean, it's bleeding profuse. I mean, it's gotten so many arrows, and it's just one hit away from going down.
Yeah, I'll fire my longbow at it.
Yeah, you do that.
It's got to be close.
Yeah, I'll stand behind you.
I'll stand off to the side of the tree line.
I lost my only missile weapon. It went off with everyone else down the road.
All right, are any of the four of you going to walk out and face it on the bridge, or?
Oh God,
you know what? I will face it. I haven't. My elf wants to. My elf will go out with his bill hook and attack it with the. He'll wait for it to arrive.
You threw your bill hook at it, so you don't have a bill hook anymore.
I thought I retrieved that before I climbed back up.
Oh no! When you threw the bill hook, it went out over the chasm, cut the creature, and fell into the creek. Yeah, it went off down river.
Then I'll use my bow as it approaches me. There's
Are you
still
going to go
a spear
out?
in the dead one. The first one that's dead still has my spear in it.
That's true. That's still laying on the bridge.
That's over there on the bridge, and we're over here.
All right. So is anyone going out from the tree line?
No, I am not.
I'll bait it.
You
fire, I'll bait.
All right. Cleric's going out. All right.
I got to revenge. I got to revenge these deaths.
All right. So the creature banks as soon as you walk out, Rhino. The creature banks in your direction, and you can see it clearly coming in at you guys. Brett, you're going to get 2 shots at it without any penalties. Cormac, you got 30 feet, right? So you're going to have to wait. And Steven, you can take a shot if you want.
I rolled a 20.
All right, you got it. You thumped the creature.
And I did 9
got an
points of
18.
damage. 9 points of damage.
Holy crap. All right. You to the fletching, you drive that arrow into it. Steven, what'd you get?
18 to hit.
And that hits, drives right into it.
And 5 points of damage.
All right. It when you hit it, both of those bolts, it dips somewhat, still coming in at you guys. You can tell it's clearly horribly wounded, and then it's going to slam into Rhino. So before that happens, Cormac, go ahead and take your shot, and then we're going to engage with the cleric.
15 on the die, so that's I believe an 18 total.
All right, you hit. Let's see what kind of damage you do. It opens up its tentacle tails to slam into Rhino.
3 points of damage with the hand crossbow.
You drive the bolt into it. It dies. As it does so, it slams right into Dino. Its momentum is too great. Give me a dexterity check, Rhino, to see if you can dodge out of the way.
Hold it with the little crossbow bolt.
No.
It wasn't working.
All right, so the creature just slams into it, tentacles flying, wings beating in every which direction. Its head's going back. You can see saliva flying out where the membrane was cut, blood kind of splattering along its side. It's just a cacophony of noise and flesh, tissue, and bone as it smashes into you. You only take 2 points of damage. It actually just kind of knocks you over. You get barreled over somewhat as it just tumbles and rolls. But you're going to make a dexterity check. If you roll horribly low, you're going to topple off the side of that cliff. So
Why would
give
you
me
jinx him like that?
Give me a dex check. But you really have to roll
we don't.
really low.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
19.
All right, you're good to go. You don't fall off and into the drink, but the creature dies there. Cormac, strangely, you got all the treasure and you got the kill. I don't know how that happened, but
I strut out of the tree line with a little swagger.
All right. The beast is dead. We've avenged our friends. It's time to go.
You have avenged your friends, your fallen comrades.
Falling,
all right.
not fallen. Falling.
Falling.
Same thing, right?
All right, so I assume that you guys pack up, and start heading back or heading towards the barn. Is that the plan?
Yeah, let's get the hell out of Dodge.
Rhino's just like, whatever, let's get away.
Anywhere but here, yeah.
Whatever weapons or fallen things that we can find along the way.
That all fell in the water. Every bit of that was either thrown over, dropped into, or plummeted into the water. So the good news is the fallen can at least. So in the world of Erd, you're judged by Heth, the crow god. He will judge whether you go to the wretched plains, the endless pools, or the stone fields. The wretched plains is clearly hell, and the endless pools is kind of this nebulous no man's land. If you did nothing heroic, you just kind of go there and you exist in the afterlife. And the stone fields is where the heroic dead always go. But clearly, all four of you are going to the stone fields. No more heroic death will be in the annals of this era. So that was fantastic, and you got your weapons with you because you dropped most of them in a drink. So you can gather those up as you go into the stone fields and celebrate in the afterlife.
Can we look at the little description in the game thing that says you could have what we could have on our character, and it said feather falling ring? Suggestion. Is that a suggestion?
That one of the coolest things I think when one of these games I was running, the first big game I ever ran, I gave everyone, you can pick your magic items like you guys could. You can pick +3s on your stuff, or you can get something special. And I didn't ask what anyone had. I don't care. I just want it to come out in gameplay. And they ended up in this big adventure with this demon, and this demon took this child and was flying, or a woman or something was flying up in the air. And the paladin did much as you all did here and stabbed the creature and grabbed it. And they just kept flying. And I kept saying, you're at 10 feet, you're at 20 feet, you're at 30 feet. And he was like, I'm going to save her. I keep going. And I'm like, you're at 60 feet, you're at 80 feet. And he just keeps stabbing the creature. And he gets around like 120 feet. And I said, no matter what happens, you're dead. And he goes, I keep stabbing her. And then he stabbed the demon, killed her. And then I said, all right, well, you and her, or the woman, are going to take just too much damage. And he goes, I've got a ring of feather falling. It was absolutely awesome. So he floated down below. I thought that was just brilliant.
We need that on camera, man. I bet the look on your face was like, holy shit.
I was absolutely floored. It was pure awesome. I never saw that coming. It's probably the most use I've ever seen of that spell ever. It was just really cool.
That is epic.
Well, I think Mr. Binker's use of the water walking ring was. He's going to kill us with the river. He still killed us with the river.
No one drowned, though.
We just hit the river.
No one is safe from the river.
How many characters has the river claimed now? I mean, is the thing going to level up anytime soon, or what?
It's lost. I got kind of addicted to these river crossings when we were teaching people to play Castles and Crusades. because it's to shift into an attribute check mindset is kind of tough when you go from other games where your skills and feats are listed. This is what you can do. So to get people out of that mindset, I quickly learned that rivers are perfect. There's so many things you can do, from swim checks to drowning checks to building a raft to, whatever it is, throwing the rope to get it, whatever. And so I started using them, and they've turned into some of the most enjoyable encounters ever as people try to get across the water. I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious because it's not easy.
Yeah,
I think
cut our losses with the gnome and ran to the forest.
Well, the ironic thing is we've only got like 12 minutes to go, but that encounter was just the intro encounter. The actual encounter is the barn.
Oh, there was actually a thing.
Yeah, there was more to it.
Well, that's what I figured when it did the vulture and it flew away. It's like, okay, let's just move on. Let's just let it go.
Hey,
let's
hey,
run
Steve.
across.
Palm Dream out in the chat there has a request. In the next printing, can we have a river? The river and the M&T. Can we do that? I mean, that would be special.
You know what? How about I put it? I'll put a river encounter in the CKG. That way it's in there. We'll tag it with the Binker's maneuver, which is the maneuver of leaping on flying creatures. We'll make a mechanic for it.
Killing.
That's fantastic. I will say that, I mean, I love that you guys jumping off the cliffs and all that stuff. That when I watched Reign of Fire, I love the movie. It's a fantastic movie, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but that last scene when McConaughey engages the dragon, for those of you who have seen it, is just fantastic. I mean, just go watch it. It's a beautiful scene. Absolutely love it. The Battle of Binker's Bend has at last ended. So there you go.
Well, and your description of barbarians in your player's handbook basically kind of made me have to do that. So
it's actually, if you play the barbarian right, and if the CK's aggressive enough, if you don't take actions like that, you don't get your bonuses. Yeah. You have to act immediately. If I'm sitting at the table and the barbarian says, "Well, maybe I shouldn't do that," well, you're not getting bonuses. Whether you do it on or not or now, it doesn't matter. You're not getting the bonuses. Lots of fun.
We weren't going to make it to the barn anyway.
Clearly not. If I had been a ferocious Jim, there's 4 monsters over there. They would have been waiting in a tree line for Rhino when he came across. But
I'm a little disappointed. I've got this other picture here to show.
The cave?
I had another monster to show you guys, but no, you had to go and get on the lizard. Yeah, whatever.
Who spotted the cave?
Do what?
Rhino.
It was me. I do have guilt over that.
All you wanted to do was fill up your water bottle.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all I would have done, and then we could have got ambushed.
What were these monsters?
So both of these, the monster that you fought here is the shovel mouth, the Fedoth. It's a monster in the Monsters and Treasures of Erd, and it's a relatively not particularly intelligent beast. I mean, it's just an animal.
Thanks.
It's got a ram ability with its
smarter than some of the party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sort of. I don't know. The party kind of. I don't know. I'm not sure who killed who, but.
Well, I rolled a 1 in the very first roll just to walk down the hill.
Yeah,
so.
It's never a good sign. That's never a good sign. But yeah, it has this. It's not really kind of written up this way, but it's got the shovel where it can bash you and bite. And then it's got these tentacles that it picks you up. And the way I play them is it likes to carry them up, drop its prey, and then play with it. Watching those documentaries of those poor seals when the orcas do it, it's so depressing to watch. But it's the animal kingdom's rough. So
the other creature I just put up on the stream, the Joe Moon, I think how you pronounce it.
Yes, the Joe Moon. That is my favorite. Well, that's probably my favorite monster of the M&T of A. It's an extraordinarily aggressive, 4-armed boar centaur-like creature. I love that beast. And you'll find if you play in Erd much, if you look at when I write up descriptions, almost everything is really violent. Everything's really aggressive in Erd. So it's just a rough world to be in. Halflings are aggressive. Everybody's aggressive. Even gnomes are aggressive. As Mr. Binkers showed you all as he led the attack.
Yes, that's right.
But now we're in the stone fields, which is a much better place to be.
Yeah,
a better place.
That's right.
So we win again.
Yeah. Well, that's where you want to end up in eternity.
Exactly. You said we're going home. Well, you didn't know we were going this far home.
That's right. You just went all the way.
Exactly.
In the Soviet darkened fold, you don't play with monsters. Monsters play with you.
There you go.
Well, that was
Now that was fun. That was awesome. We got a few more minutes to kill, so if anyone has any questions or anything, shoot them up into the stream. But guys, that was a blast. I didn't expect any of that was coming.
That's the best.
And you led the
game
way,
in the
Mr.
world,
Baker.
man. As a
Remember
GM,
when
that's
I've
my
laughed that
favorite
hard in
thing.
the game.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
We also wanted you to, if we could give you our character sheets to tear up to give you that Jim Ward thing you were talking about right at the start. It's like,
I had the pleasure of playing with him last year for the first time. And that was one of the most fun games I've ever been in because he plays so old school and it's all figuring stuff out. I mean, it was just awesome. There wasn't, I don't know, it's almost impossible to describe. I laughed more. I mean, it was just so fun. I think sometimes in our, in modern games, we take it whatever directions with whatever. The old world was a little different. Back in the 70s, it was a contest. It was it was a game of checkers and who wins. It was kind of enjoyable sitting in that.
well, it wasn't so much that who wins, but it was the story would always lose. I mean, that's it's like,
yeah, and they did stuff like I can't remember what Ernie told me. It never would have occurred to me to do this. I'd have to ask him. He took like monsters like hydras or something, and he polymorphed them right into teeth. So he had this bag of teeth in his pouch. And I'm probably messing this up a little bit, but when Gary would throw some kind of monster at him, he would throw the teeth out and do dispel magic on it. So all these monsters would spring up and have to attack. And I thought, man, I would never think of that in a billion years. I wouldn't conceptually think of that, but it's pretty cool.
you put them on a floating disc.
Yeah. I'm going to erase that spell from the player's handbook. It might not be in the 8th printing. So
I told him that if he ever pulled that on you again, he'd probably burn alive on top of it.
Yeah.
I'll have to read the spell. It's one of the things I don't like to do. What I generally do when we're playing, if someone uses like that, and I find out later, I will visit some vengeance upon them in the next game and just remind them to read the rules a little more carefully. But most players.
We're talking about starting up a regular game on maybe. I think me and Steph talking about running a game regular in Discord every Thursday, and people can just hop in and out, just take turns or whatever. But that would be a great time to seek your vengeance.
Yeah, to get Grape 8 back in there
because he'd be in there, I'm sure.
One of the things I'm hoping to get together. I run 2 tables now. The people I've been playing with forever since the 80s. And then my sons and nephews who are between 14 and 20. And they're all video game players. They're all big into video games, which is great. And so their perspective is so different. So what I'm going to try to do, and we may try to Twitch stream this if we can manage, is get Todd, who I've been playing with since 85, and my youngest son, because he's virtual school now, to play in a Twitch game for like an hour and a half and see what, older players and very younger players, how they work together and how they kind of interpret things and do things. I think it'd be pretty fascinating. Yeah. Younger gamers, running this table is crazy because they're just thinking differently. And I think part of it, I've been playing these games so long that, I just think this way, this is the way this spell works, blah, blah, blah. But they don't. They're looking at every little nuance and reading it and studying stuff. It's funny.
The only thing that they do, I'm running a similar thing. I'm trying to stream it. It's like every other Sunday. But actually took them through Keep on the Borderland. But they're busy. They don't know that they can do anything. And even as you keep telling them that they can do anything, so, they can
it's a huge thing. I remember
maneuvers, but not interact with the environment very much.
Yeah, all of it. I mean, it's one of the hardest things I think that the adjustment they had, because they come from video games and everything's contained, right? Your character can do X, Y, and Z, and that's it. And you can only go so far to the left or so far to the right or whatever. Right. And I remember when Pete, my oldest son, that was a couple years back, we were playing, and it was kind of like this light went on. He was out collecting firewood or something, got attacked by a giant, and he was trying to do all kinds of crap. or he was trying to figure out what to do. And there was this light came on because I remember him about the third thing he said, "Can I try?" I said, "Dude, you can try anything, especially in Castles and Crusades. That's what the siege engine is literally built for, so that players can try anything." But it was like this light going on, and suddenly he realized, and he told me later, "I see now how this is different from video games. I'm constrained in a video game. I can only do, what the programming says, but at the table, Skaty Boy the door, whatever, you might not succeed. That's that's a whole different
way back when we wanted to be able to see it on the computer because we had this such cool thing we did in our heads, and then it's like the computer came. It's like, well, now we slowly limited ourselves to we're in our little, we can't do anything anymore. It's like I want a game
and
again.
the cool thing is, these young guys that have only played video games. They want the other experience. They want it out, and so that they can kind of roll it around. And I don't know. It's very fascinating. So I think having younger and older people playing together would be just interesting to see.
I run 2 different CNC campaigns. In my Saturday group, they're all 40, 50, or 60 years of age, pretty much. And my Tuesday group, they're in their teens and 20s primarily. And each of those campaigns go in completely different directions. The older people, they all have the old school sensibilities. The younger people have completely different ways of gaming. So they're a great contrast for me to learn from that.
And that's what I've learned playing this game with these young guys, because I'm just like all my players that I've been playing with for so long. These young guys are doing stuff. I'm like, I don't know how that works. Let me figure this out, because they're coming at it from a different angle, and it's pretty cool.
Oh, they've pulled it apart. They've pulled it apart to figure out exactly how to make it work.
They do, and I discovered. And honestly, looking at some of these gamers, they're probably more experienced gamers than we are, that we've been gaming for 40 years, because the number of computer games, I had no clue until, my first son, we virtual schooled him as well. So he'd do his schoolwork and it was done over quick and he could play video games. I didn't give a crap. And my offices are here at the house. So I would see every day the games he was playing. And there's so many games. I mean, I had no idea how many games there were out there. And he's always playing something different. It's not the same thing. I remember there's some kind of circles eating circles, and then there was worms eating worms, and then there's spread plague across the world, which, that's not fun anymore. It's just not fun. And then,
but even role-playing games, though, I mean, they don't have to wait a week. Go on and play 3 times today, even though even not a convention, they can just go.
And it's crazy too, because I've walked by. I remember walking by, the funniest thing I've ever heard. I heard his speakers, his things were so loud, someone was yelling at him, and I stopped and I listened, and there was these 3 people. You could tell 3 people just yelling, just crazy, angry yelling, but they were speaking a foreign language. And after a minute, I realized it was some kind of Slavic tongue, Czech or Russian or something. And then I said, "Dude, what's going on?" And people, as your brother goes, "I'm pretty sure they're calling me a son of a bitch. I'm not sure, but I keep getting killed and I'm pissing them off." It was so funny. And I was like, "Hey, this guy's from Russia. I mean, how weird is this?" I don't know. It was pretty cool. It's a wholly different world these guys are in, which is great. I mean, I think it's wonderful, but I don't know. It's just different.
Now get off my lawn. Right?
Yeah. Now get off
I second that.
Get off my lawn, or I'm going to do the binker maneuver on you.
And blow out my knee.
That's like a self-destructive maneuver, though. I mean, so I'm going to do the binker maneuver in my hole. You'll take us all over.
It's kind of a 50-50 there.
Steve, you want to say anything to the audience?
Yeah. Oh, I guess we're wrapping up. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I super enjoyed this game. This was absolutely awesome. This went in all kinds of good directions. I want to thank all of you guys for playing. This was just pure fun. And I guess I've got 2 more things I'm doing at this show. Is that right, Chuck?
You've got 2 closed panels, one tomorrow and one Sunday. So everything's pretty much done for everything else for this week.
Okay, well that doesn't sound fun. But if you haven't, give us a follow over here on the Twitch channel, and join us next week. I do a show every Tuesday at 4 and every Thursday at 4. And then we've got games running on Wednesday and Haunted Miniatures panel. We've got a lot of stuff going on. So check out the Troll Twitch channel if you can, and enjoy the rest of your GaryCon.
Yeah, I'm gonna run.
Stephen,
the-
I
I'm gonna
want
run
to
the
thank you.
promo.
This was my first Castles and Crusades experience, and it was a blast.
Yep.
I'm
Thank
glad
you,
you
and
enjoyed it.
thank all the players.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank
Yeah,
you all.
thanks,
Yeah,
Steve.
And guys,
great.
Fun.
I put a message in the chat. When you leave, check out the text chat, okay, for me. You have it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
thank
Sorry
you
to
very
interrupt.
much for that.
As it goes away.
Thank you all.
Yeah. that was-
This was a blast.
Yeah.
everybody.
Pleasure,
guys.
guys. You were great.
Thanks a lot. All right. Take
Enjoy
it
the
easy.
rest of the con, gang.
Thanks.
You guys.
Welcome to the home of Trollord Games on Twitch TV.
You there? Chuck? Chuck? There you go. Yeah, I can see you. Can you? Oh, I don't know why I covered it up and called you. That's right. So I felt like that went pretty good.